The scene opens under a clear sky outside a university hospital building, with someone expressing a deep desire to live. Next, a file is being opened, labeled with the name Kim Isaac. The doctor informs him that he has a disease previously unknown to medical science, and thus his name will be given to it. He tells Isaac he has no more than 6 months to live. Isaac, overwhelmed with despair, crumples the report in his hand. In the following scene, Isaac stands hopelessly alone amidst a busy street outside the hospital. He bumps shoulders with a passerby and assumes people are whispering about him, wondering if something is wrong. He thinks this can't be the end. After working diligently like a worker ant, he was finally ready to settle down. As the signal turns red, he questions whether he's truly going to die. He walks slowly across the street while cars on both sides wait at the light. A man shoves him, shouting that it's dangerous and urging him to move faster. He falls on the crosswalk, groaning in pain. He thinks bitterly that this is a death sentence, and that it's incredibly unfair. Just then, he notices a lottery ticket that has fallen from his pocket. He realizes that it's the day he won the jackpot, lamenting the cruel irony. Tearfully, he cries out that he wants to live, that he doesn't want to die. He insists he'd be happy with anything else. His tears land on the lottery ticket as he pleads, sobbing, not to be allowed to die. The scene shifts to a monstrous world, where Isaac, now a skeleton, reflects bitterly that he didn't ask to live on in this state. He complains about being reincarnated as a bald skeleton and notes that he can't even defecate in this form. Suddenly, 3 monstrous creatures ambush him from behind. He retaliates, slicing them apart, their blood dripping from his blade. Then, he senses another attack from behind. Turning around, he sees a gigantic monster attempting to crush him underfoot. He leaps into the air, thinking that this must be the end, but attacks the monster mid-air, shouting at it to die. The monster roars, but he strikes again and decapitates it. He declares that the subjugation of the rebel forces is complete. As he strides forward, he recalls that after his reincarnation, he began as the lowest-ranking demon, a skeleton, and gradually evolved into an undead king, a lich. Numerous monsters line up and cheer as he walks past, hailing him as the immortal king. He remembers surviving the demon outlaws who were nearly exterminated over the centuries. Blushing, he reflects that he may be bald, but now he is a demon king. The monsters chant his name, which comes from his ruthless and cunning nature, celebrating loudly, Isaac. He corrects them, saying his name is Isaac, and berates them for always getting it wrong, calling them idiots. They ask where he's going, and he replies that he's going to collect his payment. His ultimate goal, he thinks, is to eat food, defecate, and become a human. Next, in the divine realm, people are shocked as Isaac declares that he has defeated the rebel monsters. He addresses the gods, informing them that he has eliminated their enemies and asks whether the agreement still holds. He reminds them they promised to make him human. The gods express disbelief, saying they thought it would take him at least 500 years. They call him insane. Meanwhile, a messenger whispers to a goddess that many high-ranking nobles colluded to exploit him without compensation. She is stunned. Isaac, hearing them, demands to know why they're stalling and reminds them of their promise. One deity asks if he can complete one more task. Isaac clenches his teeth in fury, thinking that even as a skeleton, they should know when to stop. His eyes glow red with rage. He accuses them of trying to enslave him and vows not to forgive them, even if they are gods. He begins casting powerful magic. He accuses them of not knowing how to turn him into a human and simply using him. One goddess whispers that Isaac might have caught on, and another replies that she never agreed to the contract in the first place. They regret their decision to sign with such a savage. Isaac, now rampaging, unleashes destruction. He declares that only forbidden summoning techniques allow the gods to create or destroy, and as an undead, he isn't alive. He warns that if they can't turn someone like him, who can endanger the divine realm, into a human, then they are useless. Terrified, the gods plead for more time, promising to fulfill the contract if he just completes a few more tasks. Isaac ignores them and proclaims that, as payment for breaking their promise, he will kill them all. Grinning wickedly, he says they will all become skeletons. He raises his hand and attacks, laughing maniacally. Suddenly, his magic vanishes, and he finds himself frozen. He asks why he can't move. One of the gods smirks and explains that the name inscribed on a bug in his hand renders that person immobile. Isaac's name is written on it. They command the eradication of destruction. They explain that this high-class divine technique was used in the past to seal away disasters like him. They ask how a mere demon could dare threaten them. They mock him, saying he should be grateful to have served as their tool. Isaac sarcastically asks why they didn't just use a caterpillar, clearly still bitter about his hair. They mock him for obsessing over hair, calling him foolish. Suddenly, the bug lights up and begins to disintegrate. The gods look on in confusion. Isaac mocks them, saying they should have acted quickly instead of trying to be sneaky. He declares he'd rather die than become a bug. As they try to stop him, he casts a final spell and explodes. Frustrated, the gods call him insane. Two gods inspect the bug crawling on the ground, confirming that the ritual activated properly. They conclude that Isaac's soul should be sealed. They discuss how the disappearance of demons strengthens them, but also acknowledge that they must remain vigilant, as new disasters could arise. They resolve to create the perfect saint vessel in the human world to annihilate all demons. One god, visibly drained, is reassured by another as he prepares to choose a soul for the saint's body. Holding the bug, he sneers that the foolish demon king will remain imprisoned in that form and vows to discipline him. Next, Isaac, assuming he has been reincarnated as a bug, tells himself to focus and not lose composure over being tricked by the gods. He questions whether he's become stupid, considering that skeletons don't have brains. He opens his eyes and is surprised by the brightness. Shocked to find he has eyes, he laments that, as a bug, he can't even use his hands to shield them. But then he notices his hands are soft and warm. Bewildered, he realizes he has a human body. The male nanny smirks wickedly as he attempts to feed Isaac, muttering an insincere apology and stating that he must put him to sleep for eternity. He tries to insert the feeder into Isaac's mouth, but Isaac resists repeatedly. Irritated, the nanny wonders why he refuses to eat. Isaac, meanwhile, reflects that he has just become human. There's absolutely no way he's going to consume something so suspicious, and questions if they're mocking him. He silently asks himself why he had to become human in the first place. The male nanny instructs the female nanny to mimic a baby and stuff her mouth so she can leave. She addresses Isaac respectfully as Sir Isaac and asks what he just said. Isaac is stunned and furious, wondering if she just called the male nanny by his name. He recalls the monsters referring to him as Lord Isaac and assumes it must be an alternate pronunciation of his real name, Isaac. He contemplates whether the gods had used Isaac instead of Isaac. This realization leads him to understand why he was not sealed. On top of that, he has reincarnated into a body bearing the same name. He grins malevolently, mouth wide open, considering how those arrogant gods became careless and failed to seal him properly. Just then, the nanny forcefully shoves the feeder into his mouth. Enraged, Isaac fights back, and the nannies are bewildered by the baby's unexpected strength. As he drinks, he questions whether this is vegetable juice and if they are attempting to poison him with such a repulsive concoction, especially since he has only just become human. Suddenly, he senses something ominous entering his body, and their sinister smiles confirm his suspicion. The scene shifts to the Holy Helen Empire's Central Eastern Temple, where a bishop walks with a couple behind him. He thinks that by now, the child should be finished. At that moment, the Emperor of the Holy Helen Empire, Alexander Heathcliff Hella, appears before him and remarks that the bishop seems to be in high spirits. The bishop bows respectfully, as do the couple, greeting Alexander as the son of the empire. Alexander inquires why a bishop is present. The bishop explains that the Joshua family has come to offer their greetings to the saint candidate, and that the sancticides cannot help but be concerned with the saint. Alexander responds that he understands, adding that since the matter concerns the saint, the bishop should have come personally. He warns that it would be most unfortunate if another accident were to occur after entrusting the saint to the sancticides. The scene returns to Isaac's room, where people praise him, calling him adorable and complimenting his full, chubby belly, referring to him as an angel baby. They notice that he has already consumed 15 bottles of the vile vegetable juice. The bishop grows anxious, thinking it is impossible for Isaac to be alive. Staring at the empty bottles, he wonders if the child truly ingested that many. Panic intensifies as he concludes it's not just the vegetable juice. Moments earlier, when Isaac sensed something ominous entering his body, he identified it as halobane, a deadly poison that destroys the divine powers of clerics. The nanny assumed it might not act immediately, but that a sufficient dose would eventually be fatal. Isaac, however, decides to convert the poison into mana of the Dimonkin. For a former demon lord like him, This turns out to be a blessing. He laughs inwardly, unable to believe they handed him a source of Demonkan mana. Delighted, he resolves to consume large amounts of this so-called magic baby food. Then, he begins crying fiercely, demanding more. The nannies, confused, wonder if he wants additional juice. Isaac focuses on mana generation. He decides to consolidate the mana he has absorbed into a mana core, knowing he needs one in order to use magic. If he wishes to cast spells in the future, he must complete this process. Just then, something explodes inside him, startling him. He looks within and realizes that although a mana core is typically tricolor, his is entirely white. However, he understands that color is not the issue. He hasn't compacted the mana properly into the small core. Suddenly, he notices a strange energy and questions whether something is amiss. He senses that it far surpasses his expectations. As he moves toward it, he wonders how many divine blessings have been imbued in this young body. He considers that with effort, he could evolve into a creature far more powerful than he ever imagined. He extends his hand toward the energy, and his name appears, accompanied by an option labeled Survive. He selects it, believing that his most desperate desire, etched deep within his soul, is survival. This, he realizes, is the origin of what would become the Skeleton King. He successfully creates original buffs and skills, inheriting them from his current body while laughing triumphantly. The nannies, observing his calm demeanor, wonder if he has finally passed away. At that moment, Isaac lifts a finger to signal he's still alive. Frustrated, they cry out in irritation. Isaac cackles darkly and requests another bottle. The scene shifts to the present. Alexander exhales with relief, remarking that he's glad nothing has happened to Isaac. Isaac, however, thinks to himself that although he was nearly assassinated, nothing much came of it. He looks at the bishop, who grows visibly uncomfortable and wonders why he is being stared at like that. But Isaac instead looks at the empty bottles and questions whether he really drank so many. Deciding that he cannot risk raising suspicion yet, he plays the fool and smiles. This smile infuriates the bishop, who begins to wonder if something is wrong with the child. He had expected Isaac to be on the brink of death, vomiting blood, not smiling smugly. This mockery stings deeply. The male nanny hands Isaac another bottle with a feigned smile, saying they would be even happier if he drank more, since the vegetable juice doesn't act immediately. Isaac drinks it gleefully, thinking that mana absorption is a victory. Now, he resolves to abandon the conscious world and descend into the subconscious realm, to the deepest layer, the world of origin, where mana is born. He believes he will be safe there. A few days earlier, at the headquarters of the Holy See, the bishop informs Harry Barit, the cardinal and head of House Barit, that whoever becomes the saint will possess the Holy Empire. Harry takes a glass of wine, scoffs at the notion, calls it a lame joke, and remarks that this is the reason why noble families are declaring one of their children as the saint. The bishop tells him not to worry and assures him that he is handling the other candidates. He then mentions that he has heard a rumor. A saint candidate has appeared from House Eshua. Harry pauses for a moment. The bishop adds that House Eshua is the emperor's right hand and implies there is nothing he can do about it. Harry hurls the glass to the floor and declares that the candidate has likely died before arriving, stating that he only needs the bishop to verify the corpse. He asserts that the saint must come from House Barit alone. The scene shifts to the present, where the bishop stands in shock, staring at the child, unable to believe that he is still alive. He had been told the baby would be dead, yet here he is. It becomes difficult for him to trust what his eyes are seeing. Alexander gently touches Isaac's hair, commenting that it is strange. The founder of their holy empire had the same hair color, a radiant platinum blonde like Isaac's. The bishop appears stunned and tells Alexander that he should not speak such blasphemy. Isaac looks at Alexander and realizes that this man is the emperor. Alexander remarks that Isaac looks even closer to God than the current pope and declares that he must be the final saint candidate. Isaac is taken aback, struggling to believe what he hears, wondering if this baby, his new form, is truly the saint candidate. The bishop grows alarmed, realizing the emperor is beginning to favor the child, and he cannot let that happen. He then asks His Majesty Alexander for permission to inspect the child. Alexander inquires about the reason. The bishop claims that something seems off. There is no way a baby could consume such a large quantity of vegetable juice. Alexander questions him in return, asking what is so strange about a saint candidate eating monk food. Isaac, lying peacefully, wonders how he, the former demon king, could possibly be a saint candidate. Yet again, the bishop insists, stating firmly that something about this child is undeniably strange. Alexander tells the bishop that once a representative from House Joshua arrives, only then may he proceed. At that moment, Isaac suddenly burps, and a small wisp of mana escapes his mouth involuntarily. He panics, instantly covering his mouth with both hands, terrified that he's been exposed. The bishop narrows his eyes, a knowing smirk creeping onto his face as he stares at Isaac. He informs Alexander that he just sensed dark mana emanating from the child, a deeply suspicious sign. Isaac stiffens, worried that the bishop may have discovered his true identity. The bishop continues, claiming that this child could be a false candidate who merely bears mana, and insists that he must consult with the Inquisitor immediately. Isaac closes his eyes with a sense of grim resignation. Alexander, clearly displeased, questions how the bishop could speak so cruelly of a precious saint candidate. The bishop offers an awkward smile and assures Alexander that there is no need for concern. The Pope has already chosen the child from House Berit as the next saint. Alexander looks at him, confused and disturbed by the declaration. He silently condemns House Berit for their shamelessness in selecting a child from their own bloodline. Isaac clenches his tiny teeth in frustration, now realizing that this is precisely why the bishop is so desperate to eliminate him. The bishop lifts Isaac into his arms and calls for the Inquisitor. But before he can act further, Alexander intervenes, stating firmly that House Joshua is a close ally of the royal court, and as emperor, he strongly recommends that this child continue to be considered. The bishop turns his face, voice suddenly sharp as he reminds Alexander that His Highness has also said the Crown Prince's blessing will take place only after the saint is officially decided. Alexander's expression falters as the implications settle in. If he does not support the candidate chosen by the Pope, the Crown Prince might be denied the ceremonial blessing. He asks the bishop with suspicion if this is truly the will of the papacy. Isaac watches them, inwardly scoffing. He calls them fools in his thoughts, realizing this situation is rapidly deteriorating. If they uncover who he really is, everything will collapse. Just then, the bishop offers to test the child immediately using his exorcism powers. He declares that if Isaac is human, he will be unharmed, but if not, he will be expelled instantly. As he prepares, Isaac quickly lifts his feeder bottle and, without warning, strikes the bishop with it forcefully. The bishop groans in pain, blood spilling as a tooth dislodges from the impact. Isaac smirks with malicious delight, then switches instantly into baby-like innocence, cooing and giggling. He hits him again. The bishop winces once more, stunned by the sheer force of such a small bottle. Onlookers murmur among themselves, watching the strange phenomenon. Some wonder if the light, the aura, the mana, radiating from the child is actually divine. Many begin to believe that this child must truly be the saint. Meanwhile, Isaac, still pretending to be a harmless baby, thinks to himself that while he can feel divine energy within, the dark power that also resides in him should be fundamentally incompatible. The two forces are polar opposites, yet somehow they coexist. He suspects it must be due to the white mana core inside him. Isaac attempts to strike the bishop again, but this time the bishop catches the feeder, his eyes burning with fury. He throws the bottle to the floor with a sharp crack and declares with absolute conviction that this child is a heretic. He demands an exorcism be conducted immediately. Isaac stares at him with cold disappointment, mentally branding him as a stubborn fool. Still acting like a baby, Isaac giggles softly, trying to feign innocence, to pretend the violence was never his intention. But then, he slips his hand into his robe and reaches for a hidden object, a cursed totem, the sealed remnants of a high-ranking demon. It's an item he always kept on him, just in case he were ever hunted by his own kind. It possesses the power to absorb demonic energy from those related by kinship. The bishop stares in horror, unable to fathom how a mere infant could possibly know of such an object. Isaac pulls the totem out slowly, flashing a wicked smile. He tosses it near Alexander, silently thinking that he has given the bishop enough warnings. Since he kept pushing, he will now face something worse. The totem lands with a hollow thud on the marble floor, and at once, dark mana begins to leak from it, pulsing through the room like a growing shadow. A shadow lick appears in the temple. Everyone is shocked. Alexander shouts at the bishop and says he has lost his mind for reviving a demon in the temple. The bishop replies that the child used a totem. Alexander says that totems bind dead demons and cannot bring them to life, then commands the captains to protect the child from both the demon and the bishop. One of the captains picks up the baby in his arms. The bishop stands still in confusion and aggression, not understanding what just happened. Isaac looks at him and smirks, thinking it serves him right. He watches calmly while the captains try to stop the demon with their swords. The demon shouts to kill the saint and rushes forward. Isaac gets shocked. The demon tries to attack him, but the captains stop it and protect Isaac and Alexander. Isaac feels confused because he knows he brought the demon to life, so he wonders why it is attacking him. He feels calm and confident because the holy captains are around him. The demon kills the captains one by one. Isaac stares at the captains and wonders if they are truly holy. The demon shouts again to kill him and save the imprisoned king. It runs toward him again. Isaac thinks he should stop the demon and decides to use his mana, thinking no one will notice it in the chaos. The demon comes close, and Isaac wonders why everything in this life tries to kill him. He looks into the demon's eyes and reminds himself that he saved it, but it is now trying to kill him. He uses his power and calls the demon foolish for attacking him. The demon pauses in confusion. Suddenly, a large amount of holy power bursts from Isaac's body. The demon steps back in fear and escapes. The captains shout that the demon is fleeing. They talk about the holy power and say that Isaac has defeated the high demon. The captain holding him praises Isaac and says he is amazing at such a young age. Isaac looks at his hands, seeing the holy power fade. He feels confused and wonders how his body turned his mana into holy power. He realizes the Holy Empire lacks dark mana, so he feels angry because it will be hard to gather more. The captains arrest the bishop while he shouts to let him go. The bishop calls Isaac a heretic who uses demon power and asks Alexander to let him prove it by exorcising him. Alexander tells him to stop accusing an innocent saint candidate. He says even if the bishop is a man of the Sanctus Seeds, releasing a high demon in front of royal captains will not end well for him. The bishop feels afraid and angry. He thinks Alexander has started doubting him, and if he learns the truth about the spy, it will damage the Sanctus Seeds. He decides to protect his family even if it costs his life. The bishop uses magic with his finger and creates a magic wolf. He thinks at least he can kill the saint candidate. The wolf runs toward Isaac. Isaac thinks the bishop is finally showing his real face and laughs at the weak attack. Then he remembers he has no mana left. The wolf jumps to attack him. A magic strike hits the wolf and stops it. Isaac looks in shock. Really, Joshua, the seventh son of House Joshua, appears and says no one can touch a child of Joshua. People recognize the devout Azure and the captains of Joshua. Riley tells his captains to arrest the bishop. Isaac hears the name Joshua and feels like he has heard it before. Riley orders everyone to show respect. The captains bow and greet Isaac as the son of House Joshua. Riley apologizes for being late. Isaac looks at him and feels surprised by his serious attitude. Riley says he brought a gift to make up for past mistakes. Isaac thinks it might be gold. One captain opens a box and shows a figure of the skeleton king being beheaded. Isaac looks confused. The captain says they also have one of them burned and another crushed. They show all the models to Isaac. He looks at them silently. The captains whisper that their young master is so cute. Isaac sheds a tear, thinking that living in this strange house is hard. The captains believe he is crying from happiness. Isaac thinks he remembers Joshua, the saintess of this generation, who came to end his life. He recalls people fighting, each claiming to be the saintess Joshua. One says he is the 45th saintess of Joshua, another says he is the 61st saintess of Joshua, and a third shouts that his name is not for someone like them. Isaac thinks they all have the name Joshua. He realizes that not only is he a saint candidate, but he is also in the family of the saintess. He wonders what wrongs he committed in his past life to deserve this. Riley looks at the bishop and shouts that he knew all of them were heretical bastards. He asks where they brought that creature from and warns that he will uncover its identity. Riley pulls out his sword. The bishop threatens to end the Joshua bloodline. Riley slits his throat and tells him to be grateful for the benevolence of Joshua that spared his neck after he spoke nonsense. Isaac thinks Riley is useful and wonders if he slashed the bishop's throat only because the bishop insulted his family. He wonders if Riley has the confidence to take on the Holy See. Joshua's people gather around Riley and say they heard something terrible and that he should only listen and see good things. Isaac thinks these people are crazy, but he remembers that blue Joshuas are very strong. They smile at him. Isaac thinks his subordinates would freak out whenever they saw a blue Joshua. They pull the skeleton's skull and laugh, trying to make him laugh. Next, Riley leaves along with the captain holding Isaac in his arms. Alexander thinks he owes the baby a debt. Alexander asks Riley to tell the head of his house that the imperial palace wants to raise the boy. Riley replies that Alexander's jokes are too much. Isaac wonders if the imperial palace is scouting him. Alexander says he knows the Holy Empire will target the boy both inside and outside. He says Joshua is powerful, but he asks if the present Blue Faith has what it takes to protect this child. Riley looks at him with a stern expression while Isaac waits for his answer. Alexander says the Pope will disapprove of the boy because the color of his hair is a symbol of the ancestors of the Holy Empire. He adds that the Skeleton King seems to be after him. Isaac awkwardly thinks that if he is the Skeleton King, why would the Skeleton King be after himself? Riley takes Isaac in his arms and says he is sorry, but the child is of the Joshua bloodline and must be raised by Joshuas. Joshuas can deal with both the Pope and the Skeleton King. He adds that if they meet the Skeleton King again, the previous saintess, Melissa, would be happy. Alexander says he supposes she would. Riley asks Alexander how he can leave the direct descendant of the saintess Melissa to the imperial palace. Isaac wonders if this is the Melissa he fought right before he went to the divine realm, and if she is the crazy saintess who was the toughest to deal with. He concludes that he is a saint candidate in the saintess family, and on top of that, he is Melissa's direct descendant. He wonders why his life is like this. The next scene opens with a question about what a saintess is. It is narrated that the gods, who lost to the Skeleton King every time, wanted to win so badly that they created a final weapon with all their efforts, a mace sent by the gods to smite evil. The lion of the battlefield who wields holy light, the greatest light of the Holy Empire, and the highest-ranking knight. Due to the overwhelming power of the saintess, people believed the Skeleton King had seen his final days, but the Skeleton King was merciless. Isaac thinks he has never killed a saintess, and it is not good for him. He thinks if a saintess dies and the holy power goes back to the gods, they can just send an upgraded next version of a saintess. He thinks the last saintess, Melissa, was very strong, and that Melissa is his ancestor. Riley says the saintess lives only to destroy the Skeleton King. Joshua produces those saintesses and carries out the will of the gods. They are a proud family who has the ability to protect this child. Alexander stays silent. Another captain says Riley is right. He adds that the Skeleton King has martyred many saintesses. Isaac anxiously thinks he did not kill a single one. The captain says the Skeleton King once banished a saintess to a labyrinth because he thought she was not good enough to fight. Isaac thinks he allowed her to go and wonders if it is his fault she is bad with directions. The captain says 5 of them died of stress-related diseases. Isaac thinks they should have gone to the hospital then. As Isaac's face turns red with anger, Riley tells him it is okay. He has heard all the stories, and it does not matter to them if he is cursed. Isaac thinks he is not okay with it. Riley raises him with his hands and says they are thankful he was born, and they only wish one thing from him: not to grow up to be like the terrible Skeleton King. Isaac looks burned out. The Skeleton King apologizes to him in his mind for being a bad person. Alexander again tells him to consider his request. He says it has been 150 years since the Skeleton King was sealed away. Isaac wonders if it has been that long. He thinks Melissa should have died a long time ago if this is the case, because she was 50 when they last fought. Alexander says the demons have become more powerful, meanwhile, and the saint is a great asset for the Holy Empire to increase its power. The boy is important to the imperial palace as well. Furthermore, there is no saintess in Joshua currently. Alexander adds it has been a year since the saintess gave birth to the boy and disappeared with the father. Isaac is shocked in disbelief hearing his mother was a saintess. Riley says Alexander might be right, but the matriarch still lives, so Joshua can protect the child. Isaac thinks in frustration that he cannot be more surprised than finding out his mother is a saintess, so they can get all the surprises out of the way now. Alexander asks if Dame Melissa is not currently out to destroy the Skeleton King's subordinates. Isaac is shocked to hear this. Riley says she will return soon, and the matriarch is expecting her grandson as well. Isaac questions Melissa in his mind, wondering why she is still alive and if she does not feel bad for being 200 years old. Isaac seems irritated. Alexander says it will take a lot of time before she is back. He asks if Isaac is okay because he seems a little weird. Isaac questions himself in his mind if he would be okay if he found out his greatest enemy is still alive. He fears he will be smitten on the spot if Melissa finds out. He thinks other people might be okay, but Melissa is so dangerous. For his survival, he grabs Alexander's finger and acts cute, struggling to go into his arms. Alexander says to Riley that he sees Isaac wants to go to the Imperial Palace as well. Riley says Isaac is just being clingy. Alexander, holding Isaac's arm, says the Imperial Palace can provide a lot for the young lord. He adds Joshua may be experienced in producing saintesses, but they have no experience raising a saint, a boy. Riley says the child will become an exorcist knight who will vanquish evil. Joshua is a family that produces the greatest exorcist knights. Moreover, Isaac is the first saint, so the Imperial Palace has no experience with it either. They argue to keep Isaac, pulling him forcefully. Others tell them to calm down, saying they will rip the young lord in half. Isaac, at the edge of frustration, thinks he wants to go to the Imperial Palace. The light that reacts with the origin of survival has been coming from the Emperor from the start. He looks at Alexander and releases holy light from his body, thinking he cannot miss this opportunity. Alexander smiles and says he made a wise choice. Isaac himself is shocked to see the bright holy light. The scene shifts to night outside. The bishop says he is certain the child used mana and that he is a child of the Demon King. Joshua House's men stand in front of him. The cardinal says holy light is given by God and asks if he is telling him the Demon King wields the power of God. As the cardinal pulls his sword, the bishop panics and says he is certain it was mana and asks how he, of all people, could confuse mana with holy power. The cardinal says the Sanctus Seeds has condemned his statement as blasphemy and kills him right there. The cardinal says the emperor will try to take the child anyway. There will be many chances inside the imperial household, so they will aim for those moments. He says this time the child cannot survive. Isaac wakes up and sees the sun shining brightly. He thinks he is going to Joshua now, riding in a royal cart surrounded by many knights. 10 days ago, Isaac wondered why the light from Riley's body was so bright. The captain told Riley that Joshua is not a good place to raise a child. Riley told Alexander that Joshua looks like a place filled with corpses of the Demon King and Monocores. He said the most valuable thing at Joshua would be the Skeleton King's corpse, and he moved his hand toward Isaac. Isaac was shocked, thinking if they meant his body, and if they were holding it. He thought he should have said this earlier. Then he grabbed Riley's finger and acted cute, asking him to take him to Joshua. Riley became happy. Now, Isaac lies in the cart. He thinks he is being taken away from the imperial household and to the military. He wants to get his body back because he refined his mana in it until it was like the gods. If he can get it back, the 10th rank power would be nothing. He also saw the light of the desire to survive shining brightly. This means following Uncle Joshua will help him survive. The captain in the cart asks Riley why the Pope's forces are after Isaac. Isaac wonders the same and asks himself why they panic. Riley says it is because the gods gave a prophecy that the saint would be taken as the son of a god. The captain says that means Isaac will become the next pope. Riley agrees and says that is why House Barit was so desperate to bear the saint. Isaac is shocked. The narrator explains that the pope is the strongest cleric. He uses rank 10 holy spells and is like the king of clerics and paladins. His power rivals even the emperor of the Holy Empire. Isaac thinks that House Barit has birthed the Pope for thousands of years, but now that a saint will take the Pope's position, it's understandable they're all up in arms. He also thinks that's why the other houses are trying so hard to birth a saint too. Suddenly, someone rushes in. Riley asks what's wrong. The man replies that they've arrived at the duchy but encountered a problem. Just then, a demon appears with 2 others, all disguised as humans, saying they won't be allowed to enter the duchy. Isaac wonders if this is yet another surprise. Riley angrily questions the demon, asking how he dares and if he doesn't recognize the insignia of House Joshua, wondering how these people were educated. The demon grins evilly, revealing a sharp, Dracula-like tooth, saying they won't let them enter, and that they must eliminate the child who inherited the blood of the saintess. They prepare to attack. The knight shouts, "These are demons." Isaac is shocked. Thinking this is nonsense, he's pretty sure there's a ban on attacking human territories. He wonders if this is the fault of a new demon king. The demon points a finger and calls them fools, saying their glorious king has commanded all saints and saintesses be killed. Isaac thinks so a new king has taken over. The demon adds that under the great king, Lord Isaac, they will kill that saint. Isaac is confused, wondering what the demon means and when he gave that order. The demon says that if they hand over the child, the skeleton king Isaac might spare their lives. Suddenly, Riley burns the demon with a magic attack, shocking the other two demons. Riley aggressively asks how they dare speak such nonsense before him, Joshua of exorcism, and warns they won't die an easy death. Pointing his sword, he tells them to listen carefully. For the sake of protecting all the small things in this world, Joshua will destroy all evil. Blue magic covers his sword as he declares they will chase the demons to the ends of hell to destroy them. He says the foolish skeleton king is forcing his subordinates to their deaths just to escape mortality. The demons attack furiously, shouting not to insult their skeleton king and that everything is for Lord Isaac's revival. Riley and the others ready their swords. The demons attack Isaac, and the knight holding him runs swiftly, apologizing. Isaac is frustrated, wondering if this will ever end and who is impersonating him. The knight takes Isaac into the woods and puts him down behind some bushes, telling him to wait there briefly and that he'll be back soon. He creates a magic protection barrier around Isaac. Isaac touches the barrier, thinking even high-ranking demons can't break through it. He smiles, realizing nothing from outside can get in, and that means nothing inside can get out either. He thinks now is the moment to activate his survival origin and unleash his magic. Inside his magic world, Isaac thinks this is his call to the one who is both magic and living, the observing one. Right then, a demonic creature named Whisper appears, excitedly calling Isaac his lord and trying to hug him. Isaac pushes Whisper away gently, warning him to be quiet or they will be caught. Whisper looks excited, having thought he would never see Isaac again. Isaac thinks about how he himself almost didn't survive. He recalls that Whisper is the sapient detection magic he created because he couldn't keep up detection spells during fights. Somehow, Whisper gained consciousness, which Isaac finds oddly endearing. Whisper moves around Isaac, noting how his wickedness remains the same and sarcastically congratulating him for mercilessly stealing an infant's body. He condemns the divine beings who dared to touch the child, no matter how dirty they are, and expresses disgust at the baby's body being treated that way. Isaac grows furious and tells Whisper to stop speaking and focus on finding the enemies. Whisper activates enemy detection and reports 88 demons within a 100-meter radius. He assures Isaac that none of them will lay a finger on him. Isaac wonders if there really are that many and suspects they intend to start a war. He realizes that if security increases here, summoning his subordinates will become nearly impossible. He concludes that he must deal with the threat himself, even if it requires using all the mana he has accumulated so far. As Whisper continues, the enemy count drops rapidly, 51, then 31, then 13. The knights alert Riley to an approaching threat. Whisper directs a defensive formation as the demon forces dwindle to 4. The demon leader urges his comrades to work together to kill the saint today. They shout glory to the skeleton king and start merging into a lick. The Joshua army is shocked. Whisper tells Isaac that there are no forces left, then he tells him that he has detected a shadow lick. A gigantic shadow lick prepares to fight the Joshuas, declaring that they dare to touch the king with their dirty hands, and now they will have to pay with their lives. Isaac screams, wondering what is going on with the shadow lick. The narrator recalls that Isaac is the one who freed the shadow lick, and all of its twisted affection for him explodes as it shouts, warning the Joshuas not to look at the child with their disgusting eyes, or it will tear those eyes out. However, humans cannot understand the shadow lick because it speaks a different language. Whisper informs Isaac that the situation outside is a real mess. Isaac thinks the shadow lick has figured out that he is the skeleton king and considers its efforts to follow him commendable. Riley commands all the knights to prepare for battle. Isaac wonders what the shadow lick is doing, making a show of itself. He screams in his baby language, warning the knights not to touch his lifeline, his super rich mana core. The knight reassures Isaac to wait a little while and promises to resolve the situation. The shadow lick excitedly feels recognized, thinking its master, its guiding light, has acknowledged it. The knight notices the demonkin's hostility and informs Riley. As the demonkin swiftly runs toward Isaac, Riley shouts a warning that the lowlife is heading straight for Isaac. The demonkin murmurs about how they dare seal the skeleton king in such a place. Isaac excitedly thinks that he has finally caught its eyes and that he cannot watch his mana core get exhausted. He looks at the demonkin with anticipation. Suddenly, the Demonkin breaks the protective barrier, stating that it has received its order. The knight shouts that the barrier is diminishing. Riley panics and calls Isaac's name loudly. Isaac smiles as the Demonkin takes him in its hands. He tells it to stop messing around and get some rest in his baby language, then totemizes it into a hand. The Demonkin screams in disbelief, wondering why Isaac did that. Everyone is shocked and in disbelief, questioning if Isaac really totemized a Demonkin. The knight excitedly grabs the totemized Demonkin, amazed that Isaac succeeded on his first try. He calls it incredible, explaining that it's a holy spell only those as powerful as a saintess or a cardinal can use. He raises Isaac in the air as others celebrate alongside him. Isaac thinks it is not a holy spell but simply the use of mana. Riley, confused, thinks it must have been a holy spell of totemization, but finds it odd that he cannot sense any holy power from Isaac. The knight holding Isaac, still impressed, remarks that true worth is revealed in emergencies. He is sure the Shadow Lick instinctively felt endangered and rushed to remove the source, and that their young master is just that great. He is certain Isaac is the saint. Riley silently reflects that the knight is not wrong, as even the Demonkin came aiming for the child. Even if Isaac is not a saint, something special is clearly within him. He wonders painfully why it had to be a young boy, cursed by the Skeleton King. He quickly resolves himself. The knight, as captain of the Order of Blue, announces his commitment to protecting Isaac's future, the future of Joshua. Riley looks at him sternly, but then smiles, thinking he was being foolish and only afraid of the Skeleton King's curse. He believes this child will be named Joshua. He takes Isaac in his hands, saying it's time to go home. He promises Isaac's uncle will teach him many things, recognizing his great talents and vowing to raise him into an incredible holy knight. Isaac smiles awkwardly, thinking he is fine with not becoming one and just wants his body back when they return home. He is shocked as Riley tells him he will save him at any cost, even if he doesn't live long. Riley says Isaac's name will spread far and wide across the continent. Isaac panics internally, thinking Riley just said something alarming. Riley smiles, confident that Isaac will love it. He promises to teach Isaac how to curse the dishonorable Skeleton King once they get home. Isaac mentally abuses him. The next scene opens at Joshua Duchy, where their royal carts arrive. Isaac is shocked to see the statues and grand architecture, thinking the Joshuas fiercely tear apart Demonkin but live lavishly. He wonders in disbelief how much it all costs, calling them bourgeois and reflecting on how he worked ragged trying to feed his own kids. Whisper tells him this place is on an entirely different level from their shabby palace, and that selling a few sculptures could buy 10 Demon King castles. Isaac, frustrated, tells Whisper to shut up. Riley pulls Isaac from the basket and explains that this is the Joshua residence, where exorcism and monster slaying began on the continent. He shows Isaac through a window young men practicing with swords, saying that once Isaac grows older, he will be like them. Isaac watches the young men beating down a clown, calling him Skeleton King and telling him to die, cursing him. Isaac wonders in frustration what they are teaching their children, but calms himself, thinking it doesn't matter. As long as he has infiltrated the Holy Empire, he will burn the Emperor alive and turn the place into the Isaac Empire. Whisper asks why Isaac holds a grudge over children playing despite being the Skeleton King. Isaac again tells Whisper to shut up and scan their surroundings. He looks at the bright spots on the building, wondering if they are all monocores, happily thinking there are dozens. Whisper comments that it is the first time seeing so many monocores gathered in one place, and wonders how many Demonkin they have killed. Their royal carts stop. Riley, holding Isaac, commands the servants to prepare his room and announces that Isaac will stay with him. The servant informs that they have orders to guide young Master Isaac to the annex. Riley asks for the reason. The servant says the fifth young master instructed that Isaac is never to enter the main building. Riley, frustrated, questions if the fifth young master wants to send Isaac to a cursed place where someone met their end. Isaac taunts the family's hypocrisy, saying he has known this since he rolled around outside as an infant. Riley says his brother is definitely doing something pointless. Isaac agrees, thinking he could be living it up in a mansion, and wonders why he must go to the annex. Whisper tells him that the monocores are in the annex. Riley orders the servants to back off, saying he cannot allow his nephew to stay in that ghost-ridden place. He takes Isaac to his room, promising to read him the holy scriptures about how the great saintesses fought the Skeleton King as bedtime stories every night. Isaac, frustrated, thinks this will be like an exorcism for him. Riley says once they finish that, he will teach Isaac the exorcism methods specifically made for the Skeleton King. Isaac questions internally if Riley wants to kill him. Suddenly, the fifth son of the Joshua family, Gowel Joshua, appears, questioning why Riley is making a fuss over some homeless child, insisting he told them to send Isaac to the annex. He smirks and questions if Riley will go against his brother after showing his face for the first time in a while. Isaac is shocked, thinking this man is a thug. Gowel appears to be asking Riley to put Isaac down, and he will send it over to annex. Riley tells him this makes no sense as Isaac is a descendant of Joshua, and annex is a place where they exiled people in the past. Isaac figures that Gowel is part of the faction that does not welcome his presence. Gowel comes forward, trying to grab Isaac, when Riley tells him to move aside, and he will read the story of how the Skeleton King was exorcised to this child in his room. Gowel questions Riley on getting the skeleton of the child. Gowel mocks Riley for calling Isaac his descendant. On the other hand, Isaac likes the idea of them sending him to the annex, but he wonders if Gowel is a member of the clergy or just a delinquent. Isaac relaxes after thinking that if he goes to the annex, he will just suck in his mana core. Riley asks Gowel furiously if he thinks he does not know the reason for his wanting to send the child to the annex. Riley reveals that he wants people to think the child is cursed because he wants him out of contention. This shocks Isaac as he wants to suck on this household dry to become a saint, and then the Pope takes revenge on the gods. Gowel mocks, telling that a demon has already come to get the child, and the child must already be cursed. Captain comes out defending that Isaac played a part in banishing the demon. Captain screams, telling that if a demon went for him, then it means Isaac is important, and he has the holy power of a saint. Gowel laughs, telling him he is in tears hearing this. He asks them to show him the actual powers if they are calling him a saint, and besides, they are putting so much effort into covering this child. Whisper appears beside Isaac, asking him to show him whatever he has and summon the meteorite. Gowel points at a barren tree beside them, and asks them to ask Isaac to revive the symbol of their household if he has power. Gowel reminds them that the tree died because of the demon's dark mana, so if Isaac really has the power to be a saint, then he should be able to revive it easily. Riley questions him on such nonsense. Isaac thinks that these descendants are a real piece of work. Isaac figures that Melissa's first son is missing and the second one is adopted. Just then, Whisper steps forward, and Isaac tries to stop it, but Whisper jumps further. While Whisper has moved, Riley is busy defending Isaac in front of Gowel, but then suddenly they spot something is happening to the tree. Riley himself is shocked to find out that the tree is huge now and has come back to life. Gowel cannot believe that even with healing and purification magic, the tree kept dying, but now it has come to life. Isaac feels glad when Whisper tells him that there was a little bit of dark mana near the roots and Whisper slurped it all up. The captain also comes forward, asking Riley about the tree. Riley tells him he has done nothing. They tend to figure out that this was all done by Isaac. Isaac questions Whispering about taking in all the mana. Whisper questions if it was supposed to vomit it all back now. On the other side, Captain cheers for Isaac on fixing their tree. Gowel laughs, saying that nobody in this house has been able to do anything, and they are insane if they think a mere child did it. He tells everyone someone must have helped the little child, but everyone starts cheering the little child. Gowel accuses Riley of doing this. He grabs him by his robe, screaming that he must have helped the child and pretending as if the child did it. Riley tells him there is no way he has met the missing saintess, while Isaac thinks Melissa should focus on her household instead of vanquishing demons. Isaac figures Gowel does not look like Melissa at all, and Riley does seem like Melissa in disguise. Whisper questions if Riley is the half-brother. Isaac then thinks that Riley does look like the Pope. Gowel keeps screaming in his face, saying that he knows he has brought the child as a saint candidate, even though he knows they already have a saint candidate. Isaac is shocked that there are more candidates in the house, and Gowel wants the other candidate to win. Whisper tells that he needs to compete with the other person, and he still seems really unbothered. But Isaac thinks the person Gowel is supporting must be wicked like him. Riley tells him he is their nephew, and one of their first brother, and he has the right to lead the house. Gowel laughs, reminding them that their brother ran away when their house was in danger, and they are letting his child into their family. Isaac figures this is the reason they are treating him as the bastard child. Whisper tells him not to talk about his life like this nonchalantly. Gowel smirks, figuring that the little child is still the son of the saintess that they brought in from outside, and maybe a half-blood. But it is what it is. He asks Riley if they are sure if he is their brother's son or not, and says his face looks fine as he takes after the woman. He talks about selling the child, and Riley punches him in the face. Captain is shocked to see that they are fighting in front of Isaac, and Isaac thinks that even if his brothers are fighting, he is getting loads of information. Riley keeps punching him, and different people run toward them to stop them. Isaac figures it is good that there is such a mess because this way it will be easier to take over. He and Whisper keep smirking, and Whisper asks him to think if he won't go down with the house if it falls into ruin. Later, at the Joshua house, Isaac is sitting at the table, thinking that this is annoying. They are all fighting for having another brother, and Isaac thinks that no one in the house is sane. They think that the peasant saintess should not have birthed another boy. All these talks make Isaac angry, and he thinks they are going too far. Just then, the patriarch's second wife, Hannah Joshua, is sitting in the head chair, asks everyone to be silent. She calls Riley and tells him that they have decided to raise Isaac in a minor house that is out of the spotlight. She asks Riley the reason he allowed the child to be on this land. Isaac figures she is being hostile openly, and she must be the one behind the people trying to send him to annex. Gowl furiously asks Riley to answer as their acting patriarch is asking a question. Riley figures that their father is not here. Hannah tells their father is out of town, where there is a whole mess with a saint candidate situation. Riley says this is a shame, as their father should hear the news that the eldest grandson of this house, Isaac, has revived the holy tree. Everyone is shocked at his words. Gowl stands up defending that it was just a coincidence, and it must be the result of the prayers of the Joshua house. Another lady agrees, questioning that a mere child could not have done that which even their patriarch could not do. Hannah agrees and says that there is no evidence that Isaac did it. Another guy agrees with Hannah's statement. Hearing this, Isaac spreads his hands out to show them the proof. He channels some great mana, and everyone is shocked as he gathers great amount of energy. Isaac wants everyone to look at the holy energy he can gather, and all the elders are shocked to the amount of energy he just gathered. Suddenly, the people are talking about Isaac's wonders. They think it seems like he got rid of the mana that was eating away at the holy tree. One of them is a question about a newborn removing the mana. A lady says this is the only feasible explanation that Isaac created a physical form out of the mana. A man says that this method of exorcism might work, but it is not that simple, and if something went wrong, it might have killed the tree. They say there is a reason the patriarch opted for the stable purification method. Gowl cannot believe that they are considering the option that Isaac might have done that. Riley tells everyone that Isaac must have instinctively exorcised the mana. Isaac knows his tricks worked when Riley stands up, telling everyone that a child has done what no one in the central papacy could in the past 70 years. Gowl smacks the table with his fist, asking if the elders believe this nonsense. He screams at elders, asking if they think an infant can be exorcised, and they can become a laughingstock once the world hears about this. He asks everyone to look at the kid, as he doesn't even look like someone from the Joshua bloodline. Riley stands up and calls all the elders, informing them that Isaac will be the saint, and that he can even become the next pope. Isaac feels proud hearing such words about himself. Riley puts him in the air, cheering that Isaac will even slay the skeleton king. Everyone, including Isaac, is shocked to hear this. Hannah thinks that Riley is only digging his own grave. Hannah says if he is this confident, then they should test the child. She requests the use of the divine relic storage. On the other side, in the northwestern regions of the Holy Helen Empire, which is the Dark Forest, a monster gets slashed with a sword. Patriarch, who had slashed him, kept his sword back, revealing that this place was also a mess. A servant comes from behind, greeting the patriarch. Upon asking, the servant tells that his proxy has requested to use the divine relic storage. The patriarch says that the Sancta Seeds is not allowed to use it. The guy says that it is not the Sancta Seeds who is asking. He adds that his grandson has revived the holy tree, and the proxy wishes to see if he has the qualities of the saint. The patriarch turns to the servant in shock, questioning more about the situation. The patriarch questions the saint being in his household. Ile Joshua says that he does not permit it, as only a saintess can survive going into the place, and asks them to avoid unnecessary conflicts. While Eli was telling the servant to go ahead, another woman arrived. She asks if they are talking about Isaac. She asks if receiving the holy tree is impressive. She is Joshua matriarch and former saintess, Melissa Joshua. She asks if they are opening the storage, then they should put all of the saint and saintess candidates in there. The servant is shocked, saying that a child of another household might take something good from the storage. Melissa hopes that someone steals something, as even the best saints of the former generations could not take anything out of the storage. She adds that perhaps if someone is able to take out a specific item, then they will be able to track down the Skeleton King and kill him. Melissa decides that they should put everyone together and put a reward on finding the specific item. Melissa asks the servant to tell everyone that the child who brings out the best treasure from the storage will be given a reward even the Pope cannot procure. She tells them that they will receive the generational heirloom of the Joshua household, and she will teach them the secret technique of the household herself. She excitedly informs them that she will give them everything. The divine relic storage is where a secret technique from thousands of years ago, as well as divine relics, are kept. A saintess has always guarded the storage, and the Joshuas are said to be the owners of the storage. Due to the fact that only children under the age of 10 can enter, the storage was used as a kind of ritual for the saintess candidates. When they turned 1, they went in and chose something. People predicted what kind of powers the saintess would have based on the item the child brought back. However, the storage is so dangerous that even saintess candidates risk their lives by going there. After several deaths, the storage was sealed. Whisper tells Isaac that it is looking forward to whether he will make it out alive or not. Isaac asks the reason for narrating. Whispers asks if he isn't looking forward to it. Isaac excitedly tells that he is looking forward to it. He laughs in an evil manner, whispering that the body of the Skeleton King is said to be in there. Just then, Rilai takes him up, asking if he is excited. He tells the matriarch has opened up the store for all the candidates. Isaac is shocked that it is open to all candidates. He tells Isaac that all children of the 5 renowned households will be there, including the Pope household, but he is sure that Isaac will win. Whisper figures that they are making a big deal out of this. Isaac figures that this is good, as there are more people, and it will be a great distraction. He decides that this way, he will turn back into his original body there. Putting him back, Rilai asks him to be careful. He says the demons captured from the battlefield will be guarding the inside. This shocks Isaac that it must be dangerous if the demons are guarding the inside. But he thinks all of them will be 6th rank or lower, and he can just use his overpower. But Rilai tells that they will be in the 8th rank and they are not an easy opponent. Isaac is freaked out hearing of the 8th rank demon being there. Captain enters, telling Rilai that the 9th rank dragon would probably be the worst. Rilai agrees that it must be if they consider only ranks, and this freaks Isaac out a little. Whisper thinks that the entire Joshua household must be out of their minds for keeping a dragon at a place where abbeys are going. Then, turning toward Isaac, it takes a breath, remembering that Isaac knows a lot about dragons. But something has put Isaac in a bad mood, who thinks that dragons are dangerous in a different sense. Isaac says that he has scammed the guys a bunch of times. Whisper is shocked that he has scammed the dragons. He recalls when he scammed them and figured he had scammed almost 70 of them. The thing that worries Isaac is that they might recognize his soul as they have good memories. Whisper tells him that this is a good time for him to switch masters. Isaac gets angry at Whisper and figures he has no other choice, as he can barely deal with 6th rank demons, and there are 80 rank demons and a 9th rank dragon in the relic storage. He figures that in order to fight them off, he needs to rob the Joshua household of all their mana cores. And now he decides to go to the annex. At the Joshua estate, Isaac is outside holding a book with a Whisper beside him. Whisper asks if he is all right because he looks as if he is about to be exorcised. Reading the book, Isaac wishes to know how to manipulate holy power, as he can learn all the spells in the book. He decides to get a rundown on everything by mind controlling and forcing him to teach. Whisper reminds him that he would be using dark magic within the center of the clergy and asks if he is trying to drive this house into the ground, being framed as a demon. Isaac asks Whisper about the change in its personality over the last 150 years. Isaac whispers that he cannot understand everything with theory alone. Just then, Rilai picks him up, telling him he seems tired after such an eventful day. Isaac thinks children his age should be sleeping 16 hours, and they are putting him in a competition. Rilai puts Isaac in the crib while the captain grabs the book Isaac was reading. Rilai uses his regenerate spell on Isaac, and he gets excited that a spell is being used. Isaac tries to come out of the crib, trying to convince Riley to use an attack spell, while Whisper tells him to stay still. Whisper reminds him that he needs to go to the annex, so he cannot keep people here, and Isaac understands. Isaac decides he needs to get rid of everyone here and quickly tries to pretend he is asleep. Whisper thinks nobody is going to fall for such lame acting. While the captain smiles, realizing that Isaac fell asleep so fast, Riley thinks he is an amazing child, as he is quick at everything. Whisper thinks they are all insane for believing this. Isaac keeps pretending to sleep when he hears them talking about keeping the totem as it is dangerous. Isaac is shocked that they are taking it, and Riley orders them to keep it safe as it is Isaac's first totem. Isaac needed it to resurrect, but they have taken it. Isaac cries, lying down, thinking they have taken it away. When the door closes, Isaac quickly gets up, thinking now he will have to dry the mana core that is in the annex. He crawls out of the crib, and Whisper asks if he will crawl his way to the annex. Isaac says that he has a plan, and he only wants to Whisper to open the door. Whisper tells him that he cannot carry him all the way to the annex and tries to open the door. But it tells Isaac that the door is locked and the locking mechanism is outside, and there is even a holy spell on the door. Isaac gets annoyed and asks in a whisper to break the door. Whisper tells that by breaking, they will think he is under attack and flock over here. Isaac goes to the door and starts banging, thinking he cannot hang on to Whisper all the way here, and if he uses magic, things will get complicated. Just when he was trying to think of a plan, Kai walks in the door and is shocked to see Isaac on the floor. The kid is the son of Gowel Joshua and Shuri Joshua and is 5 years old. Isaac turns to look at the kid, figuring out if he is his rival. Shuri is angry that the little child made a totem that even he could not make. He starts to use a spell and tells Isaac that he will be the saint. He asks Isaac if he is daring to take what is rightfully his. Isaac figures this is his moment to escape and grabs an object from magic and hits Shuri with it. Isaac figures he has found his ride. Shuri gets furious that Isaac hit him. Isaac grabs his object back, thinking he must be Gowel's son, as he looks like him, and he first used his magic to attack him. He uses his magic and starts beating Shuri. Whisper tells Isaac his shots are great, and Isaac wants Shuri to accept that he will be his ride. Isaac keeps beating him until Shuri stands up furiously, using his magic, and blocks Isaac's attack. Isaac acts surprised, and Shuri asks if he is surprised to see him using the 3rd rank defensive magic. Shuri prepares another spell and tells Isaac it is too soon to be surprised, and casts the 3rd rank holy attack magic, Radiant Holiness. He throws his attack at Isaac, and Isaac thinks this is actually impressive. Isaac smirks and thanks him for the magic and creates his own magic from it. Isaac creates a huge defensive spell, which freaks Shuri out. Isaac wondered how he used this, as Riley did not teach him this. Isaac creates his magic to attack Shuri. Shuri screams, and Isaac laughs at him and attacks him with the magic. Whisper asks if it is all right for him to kill someone from Joshua's family. Isaac asks if Whisper thinks he is killing him because the attack did not even hit him. Shuri is lying on the ground, and the floor beside him is totally broken. He screams at Isaac for not hitting him and scaring him. As Shuri keeps screaming at Isaac, Demon Kin appears and questions him on daring to speak to Isaac like this. Demon Kin asks if Shuri wishes to die, and Shuri kneels on the ground crying. Isaac goes to the Demon Kin and tries to calm him down. Then, he asks Shuri to carry him. Shuri is walking, thinking he is Shuri Joshua, and he will become a saint in the future. He also plans to escape the Joshua house and become the Pope, but right now, Isaac is giving him a hard time. As Shuri is walking around the estate with Isaac on his back, Shuri questions him on doing this to him, and the Demon Kin asks Shuri to move before he tears him to shreds. Shuri tears up and keeps walking, and Isaac also wants to make it out alive. Outside the palace, Isaac is giving Shuri directions. Shuri seems pretty exhausted, and Isaac tells him to get his act together. Shuri questions him about the place he is asking him to go. When he stops, he sees the Joshua residence's 2nd annex in front of him. Shuri screams that this is the haunted house. Shuri cannot believe Isaac has brought him here, where several people have died, and the Patriarch also forbids entry. Isaac and Whisper smirk, thinking there are several dozen dead people in there. The place is secured with mana, and Whisper tells Isaac that he would have to train himself to death for decades to acquire this much mana. Isaac asks Shuri to go inside, but Shuri says they cannot go inside as the elders said not to. Demon Kin appears again, scaring Shuri. Catching his breath, Shuri brings Isaac inside on his back. Isaac looks here and there, thinking that the insides are in such a worse state. Then, a door catches his eye. Whisper tells the whole building is sealed, and every door here has a protective barrier on it as well. Isaac feels demotivated, and Shuri asks him to go back as everything in here is locked up. Isaac pulls Shuri's hair, and he starts to scream. Shuri screams, asking Isaac to let him go. Just then, Isaac's eyes land on portraits of past patriarchs. Shuri asks if he wants to go after the patriarchal position now and tells him that he will be the next patriarch. Isaac grabs the object he brought with him and breaks the patriarch's portrait. Shuri screams for his ancestor and asks Isaac if he knows what he is doing. Isaac wants to know the reason someone is placing barriers on the portraits as well. Whisper announces that the barrier has been broken. Isaac jumps on the floor and starts crawling. Shuri keeps questioning him about going after making such a mess. Isaac enters the door, which was sealed before, and asks in a whisper to lock the door. Shuri tries to question him, but Isaac tells him that a kid like him does not need to know and closes the door. Then, he channels the magic and begins for what he came all the way here. Shuri bangs on the door, asking Isaac to come out, threatening that he will tell the adults everything. While Shuri was banging on the door, all the adults appeared behind him. Rilai calls Shuri asking the reason for his being here. Shuri tries to tell Rilai about Isaac being inside, but a woman screams, asking if Shuri does not know he is forbidden to enter the annex and asks if he has brought Isaac here as well. Shuri cannot understand that they are blaming him for everything now. The woman says that many people saw him bring Isaac here on his back, and there were traces of holy attack magic in Isaac's room. She asks if he is responsible for everything. Isaac tried to defend himself, but could not. Rilai comes forward, telling that Shuri has gone too far this time, and whatever the case may be, he has been harassing a toddler who has not even weaned. Rilai calmly asks if he has locked Isaac. Shuri cries, telling him he has not looked for Isaac, and Isaac went in there on his own. Rilai gets up, confused, knocking on the door, asking if Isaac is in there, and asks if Isaac has locked the door. Rilai opens the door and finds Isaac crying beside the door. He picks up Isaac, saying Isaac looks terrified of being there alone. Rilai thanks God that Isaac is safe, although nothing has happened to him, but he is scared. Rilai walks out, telling Shuri he should be ashamed of himself. Shuri tries to defend himself, but no one listens to him. Isaac grins at Shuri for letting him have his meal. Shuri screams at Isaac, and his blood pressure shot up even though he is just a kid. Isaac checks his mana, figuring out there was more in there than he expected, and he has obtained as much mana as he would have gotten with 100 years of training in one go. He smirks, thinking that with this mana, he can now finally use his plan. Later, Isaac is sitting in his room when Rilai comes with a girl to introduce her to Isaac. He tells her she is Asili, and she will be working as his assistant. Asili introduces herself as the Holy Knight of the Joshua household. Asili kneels in front of Isaac, assuring she will serve him until he dies. Isaac recalls the incident with Shuri, thinking if they are assigning someone because of that. Isaac starts to behave rudely with Asili, so she goes out of his sight. Rilai and Asili look at Isaac, blabbing in shock. Then, she moves forward, asking if she can just pinch his cheeks one time. Isaac thinks there are just so many lunatics in his household. Then, Rilai presented Isaac with a ring, telling him it was a gift from him. Isaac looks at the ring, thinking it looks like it is from a dumpster. Whisper says it thought it heard wrong, but it seems the Joshua household truly is in a financial crisis as they are gifting such a ring on his first birthday. Asili shockingly recognizes it to be the Saintess heirloom. Isaac feels shocked while Rilai tells him that he got it from the council specially for him. Isaac figures this is the ring the Saintess used in the battle against him. It is the Elder Ring, a small ring which contains a small miracle of God. Isaac figures the holy power stored in the ring is incredible. He smirks, thinking that it seems like he can only use it once or twice before it breaks, so he needs a way to fix this. Then, he finds angry Gowl outside his room leaning beside a tree and figures the ring must be real. Just then, he comes inside, calling him his cute nephew. He wishes that Isaac finds this place comfortable. Isaac is shocked to see this behavior from his side and thinks he has gone mad, and things are getting complicated. Gowl broke the blessing device in the relic storage, so he could not get the blessing, but he did not know they would give him the heirloom instead. He recalls the woman telling Rilai that since Isaac cannot receive a blessing, it is only fair that they give the heirloom to him. Gowel asks them to lend the heirloom to Shuri instead. The woman asks if he has not already received a blessing from the Sancta Seeds and asks Gowel not to be greedy. Gowel grits his teeth and thinks he is about to take it away while pretending to donate it to the Sancta Seeds, and there is no way that Isaac could fathom the true value of the heirloom. Gowel asks Rilai if he was going to give Isaac a present, and he should have picked a good one, and this one seems useless. Rilai questions him on thinking the Saintess' belongings are useless. Gowel says Isaac is his nephew and he cannot give a useless thing to him. He brings out another ring, telling this ring is imbued with many blessings directly from Sancta Seeds. He says this should be more helpful to Isaac in the relic storage, as this is a very precious item that Rilai could never get. Rilai keeps staring at Gowel in confusion, while Isaac tries to grab the ring from Gowel. When Gowel asks him for the other ring, Isaac hits him in the face. Grabbing the ring, Isaac figures the ring reeks of the foul stench of the Pope and throws it away. Gowel screams as Isaac throws the ring away. Rilai looks at Isaac suspiciously as the other ring seemed 1,000 times more precious than the item he had given him, but he chose his. He once again picks Isaac and tells him he will give him only the best from now on. Rilai and Asili start to cheer for Isaac, and on the other side, Gowel screams at servants to find the other ring. But Isaac has cast away magic on it, so they won't be able to find it. Whisper tells Isaac that his determination to never even lay a finger on such a foul object is truly admirable. But Isaac asks Whisper to pick the ring up at dawn. Whisper is not happy that he has asked him for this. Isaac has asked to do so because that ring is going to be worth a fortune, so they need to sell it. In his room, Gowel smashes his table at Isaac for throwing such an expensive ring. Then, he pushes the thoughts away, saying he won't be able to use the Elder Ring properly, so this doesn't matter. He says the ring is a fitting gift for someone who cannot even use the holy spells. He adds that Isaac would need to absorb at least 20 people's worth of holy power to use, and it will be impossible. He smirks, wondering if there will even be 10 people coming to his first birthday. The next day, there are many people gathered outside. Asili and Rilai look at the crows from the window. Asili figures it is good that there are over 148 candidates, including the nobles and servants, and there are about 4,000 people who have gathered now. Asili says it seems that all of the ducal families have come, as well as dozens of marquis families. She adds that it is amazing that even different countries sent their saint candidates. But Isaac is shocked to see so many candidates and thinks the gods were just lazy and sprinkled everyone here. Whisper thinks they are the type to do something like this. Rilai says he did not expect this as he thought no one would come thinking of this as a trap. Just then, Count Simon Age barges in, saying that no one thought of it as a trap. He is the head of the 3 merchant unions in the empire and Rilai's best friend. Rilai is shocked to see Simon there. Simon tells that the rumor has spread far and wide throughout the empire, so he must attend. Simon tells everyone that it is not a trap and decides to attend. He adds that the weakling boys of the Joshua household are all attending as well and laughing. Simon laughs, saying there was no point in not coming when the head of the Joshua household has put on the line. Simon informs that even the Pope's family is coming. But Isaac is busy thinking about whether Rilai has put something on the line. Rilai becomes furious and asks Simon not to be ridiculous, as there is no way the Pope family would attend. Simon shrugs, saying that there is no way those unfriendly royal fellows would show up in the Joshua territory as they detest this place for having so many commoners, except for the Barit family. Someone appears outside the room when Rilai asks Simon to lower his voice, and Simon says his son, Eamon, is a candidate as well, so he won't lower his voice. He adds that the event was hosted by Joshua's family, so the Pope's family has no reason to get involved in this. Rilai asks Simon to be mindful of what he says while someone opens the door. Simon and Rilai are both shocked at the sight that they see after the door opens. Bishop Barit enters, saying that there is an old saying that nothing is as dangerous as a vulgar friend. Rilai and Simon are freaked out to find Barit there. Bishop Barit speaks that to think that the weak man of the Joshua household would host an event like this must mean that his infant will bring something from the relic storage to save his family's face. Barit tells that he was curious to see Joshua's child to claim to be a saint candidate, but he cannot even see him. Asili tightens her grip on Isaac. Barit smirks, telling that this is definitely an opportunity for them, and they have his sincerest prayer that the saint candidate could raise the name of their family. Riley feels uncomfortable if this was all a plan by the Sanctus Seeds. He thinks the fact that the number of saint candidates has gone from 25 to 148 in just the last week is strange. He figures the only explanation is that the Sanctus Seeds is turning a blind eye to the fact that saint candidates are popping out of nowhere. This means everyone will try to make their child a saint candidate. Once such children are put into the storage, they will inevitably attempt to push out the weakest competitors. He clenches his fist, knowing they can even cause harm there. He turns to look at Isaac, figuring that Isaac might be in danger there. The story continues with a man talking about the Joshua family boys. He says that other than their exceptional looks and their family's reputations, they are useless. But to those who want to possess the superior Joshua DNA, and to those who want to gain the favor of the papal house, which hates the house of the saintess, they should know that a boy from Joshua is tantalizing prey. A person wearing a cloak hands a little boy a bottle and asks him to play with the little boy. He asks the boy not to let him die, but is unable to do anything. The guy asked the kid to mix the drug into the water and use a holy potion. He wanted to show Joshua's child the cold reality of this world. The sole purpose was to make him a laughing stock in front of everyone, and to show the world that he can never be a saint. The kids brought the drugged water to Isaac, and he drank several bottles of it. The kids are shocked that he has drunk too much and are scared now. Isaac smirks, knowing they cannot kill him with this much poison, and hits the kid with the bottle. The kid who got kicked started crying, asking to let him go home, while the other kids tried to calm him down. The guys are shocked that he should have had diarrhea by now, or maybe they have used the wrong bottles. The guy who got hit asks the others to just go as he does not feel so good. Isaac kept drinking water until the kid snatched the bottle from him, asking if he possessed it, as he was not getting affected by it. The kid gives him another bottle, but Isaac throws it at the guy's face. Isaac started to hit and scream with the boys. A girl comes telling that her bottle has holy poison, while the other one stops her from doing so. Isaac hears of the holy poison and jumps at the girl to drink it. The other kids are shocked that Isaac is even drinking the holy poison, so maybe he is in a state where he is filtering out the poison naturally. The other kids start to question if Isaac is drinking the poisoned ones to save the others. A kid was sitting beside the wall when another one came at him asking if Isaac was sacrificing himself for the others. The kid is shocked to find Kina Barit there. He is shocked as he did not know the papal house would be participating. He is the direct grandson of the papal house, Kina Barit. Everyone starts talking about Kina Barit and questions about him being in the Saintess treasury. Everyone thinks Kina Barit is going to win, while Isaac keeps chugging on the water bottles. Isaac looks at him and figures he is the one who has been chosen internally to be a saint. He questions the original hair color of Kina's and thinks all the popes were always dirty brown. Kina smirks, telling everyone that it is not odd that he is taking part in the treasury. He adds that the pope is the head of the clergymen, so the saint's treasury is the property of the papal house. He laughs, telling everyone that he is here to take what is rightfully his. Isaac figures his talking style tells that he is part of the papal house. Isaac sees his holy power and thinks he is a monster, as his holy power has already surpassed bishops. While Isaac was thinking about him, Kina asked if everyone was trying to make the host look bad. He tells everyone that they are all substandard and that they won't gain anything by terrorizing a child. He goes to Isaac and tells everyone this little kid cannot control his poison immunity, and it must be the power of the saintess protecting him. Isaac thinks stupidity runs in his family, and Kina brings his magic out, telling Isaac he will heal him. He starts to heal Isaac, and Isaac figures his holy power of healing magic seems to be of rank 5. Isaac figures Kina is doing this only to make everyone see his power. He knows it is clever of Kina, but he punches him in the face. Just then, the holy power disappeared, and everyone was shocked to see this. Kina cannot believe that Isaac disturbed his holy power. Kina looks at his hands, thinking if the child is more powerful than he is. He looks at Isaac and feels furious. Isaac looks at him in return, thinking Kina should not look at him like that. Isaac tries to smack Kina in the head with the bottle, but Shuri stops Isaac. No one understands the reason Isaac would hit someone who was trying to help him. Another kid hits Shuri and asks if he stopped because he is his family, and asks if Isaac thinks he can stand up to Papal House. Shuri tells the other that if he had not stopped, then all of them would have been hit by the bottle on their heads. Kina tells the kids to stop, as Isaac only threw a bottle because he is a baby. Kina walks away, bidding everyone luck and asking everyone to save the toys for their family. He looks back, telling in the end that the greatest treasury will only be his. He adds that Joshua will never get close to the body of the Skeleton King. Shuri feels angry at Kina for coming in like that, while they both look at Kina leaving the place. Shuri points at Kina and thinks he is an annoying guy. Just then, Isaac grabs Shuri for stopping him. Isaac wants to ask him about the skeleton's actions while Shuri grabs him, asking the reason for drinking so much poison. Shuri says the matriarch said that the one who brings the Skeleton King's body will get a special technique. Isaac is shocked to hear this and curses Melissa under his breath. He thinks of Skeleton King and questions about the games they are all playing with his body. All the kids are gathered here and there, while Shuri and Isaac are sitting in a corner. Isaac thinks he spent hundreds of years cultivating mana in his old body, and now reaching rank 10 would be child's play only if he gets his hands on it. But what worries him is the way he would sneak out in his actual body, seeing all the kids around him. Then, he thinks knocking anyone who comes in his way might be a good idea. A woman appears, asks everyone to gather around, as they will be departing soon. She tells the treasury is a holy place and starts to talk about the previous saintess. Isaac asks himself if she will be talking about history right now. Before he could wait for her lesson to end, he started crawling to start on his own. Shuri tries to stop him, but a huge explosion occurs. Everyone's attention is gathered toward Isaac. Isaac uses his swift steps magic and starts running swiftly. The elder tries to stop Isaac from telling him the area where he is going is off limits. She tries to tell him that if he goes that way, traps will activate throughout the treasury. All the kids start to run away to stop Isaac. At the Joshua house, ballroom, Rilai and Asili are standing there, worried for Isaac. A guy standing on the stairs connects through his magic to the insides of the treasury. The guy says he will be reporting live with his team that is currently following the child in third place. He informs that the door to the first chamber has been opened and the candidates are entering. This seems a little suspicious to Rilai. The guy informs that Imane Jesus is in third place right now. Hearing this, Simon cheers for his son. The host announces that Shuri is in second place, and Gowel feels proud of his son. The host is shocked to see that, in the first place, is Isaac Joshua. Rilai and Asili are also shocked to hear this. Inside the treasury, the elder is also running after Isaac, not to go there as he will activate the additional traps. As they are running, the elder has turned into a weird figure. The kids start crying and running here and there. Kina is also among all the children and tries to stop Isaac from telling that he is making a mess. He tries to tell Isaac that the trials of the treasury are hard enough already, and they should avoid the anti-intruder traps. Isaac stops at the gate to the second chapter, and the second layer of the traps has been activated. Whisper appears and tells Isaac he has done a good job, thanks to the mana core he absorbed in the annex. It also tells that it has gone up a rank. Isaac sends Whisper to grab the kids. The kids are sitting, tired, and figure that this is the reason saints are so strong, because it is difficult. Whisper grabs Shuri up in the air, and the kids notice that he is the one from Joshua. They try to guess his name and are shocked that he is flying. They think his house must have told him earlier to fly, and it is unfair to them all. Whisper has grabbed him in the air, and Shuri tries to tell everyone that he is flying against his will. Then, Whisper throws him on the ground in the second chamber, telling Isaac that he has secured his informants. Shuri gets angry at Isaac and tells him that he made it past the first chambers somehow, but starting from the second chambers, he will die if he isn't careful. Shuri says that the second chamber was designed to teach saintesses how to overcome fear and choose the right path. Isaac attacks Shuri with his magic as he thinks he was being too noisy, and he does not need blabbering, and asks him to only tell the details. Shuri grunts and tells that when he enters the second chamber, he should not attack the enemies, no matter what. Isaac thinks this is nonsense that he should not attack his enemies. Shuri tells him again that he should only wait for all the enemies to disappear, and this is the only way to get past the second chamber. He asks Isaac to answer if he understands, but Isaac thinks this must be a test of patience. Isaac starts to crawl while Shuri explains that people have died in this chamber. Isaac thinks waiting 3 minutes would be nothing, and he can easily avoid attacking his enemies. Isaac touches the chamber gate, and it welcomes him to the Chamber of Tranquility. A voice tells that patience is a virtue and a cold rationale. Isaac is asked to stay patient, and his patience shall guide him to the light. On the other side, Kina is walking with some other kids. One of them asks if they will be okay as they are in the last place. Kina says that there is no need for them to endure the danger first, and they can let the meat shields stand in front. He reminds them that a rank 8th demon guards the entrance to the second chamber, and he bets the guys who ran ahead are all stumped at the entrance. He asks everyone to look at where the glow is coming from. He tells everyone that the trial has already begun. The gate opens, and Shuri asks Isaac not to let himself be shaken. A lady appears on the other side, telling Isaac that his patience will guide him to the light. The lady was about to speak more, but Isaac quickly punched the woman. Shuri screams, calling Isaac dumb for punching the woman instead of waiting. Isaac thinks he cannot wait when they are showing such an ugly face. Whisper tells him to hold out more than 3 seconds. The voice tells Isaac has failed, and those who cannot be patient shall face the wrath of divine punishment. With that, a huge demon appears in front of them. Shuri cries, thinking they will be dead now. But Isaac channels some red mana and attacks the demon with his mana. The demon screams loudly. Shuri is shocked to see Isaac's power. The demon was dead in no time, and Shuri could not understand the deal with Isaac. As Isaac destroyed the golem, he couldn't believe this was rank 8th. He realizes this golem was made by his subordinate. He recalls a member of the 14 elite demons, the strongest of the subordinates he had trained as the Skeleton King. He realizes the innate magic belongs to one of them. He cannot guess if the golem is working under Joshua's house or if it has something to do with his boy's presence here. He crawls more, thinking he needs to find out more about this. Shuri asks if Isaac will go forward in this direction. Another kid comes from behind, telling them he did not know the Joshua boys would be of this much help. The guy with red hair comes with other kids, telling them he knew the Joshua boys would do something. He is Nigel Safet, Red Faith of the 5 Great Faiths and the 3rd son of the Ducal House Safet. Nigel thanks Isaac for beating the gatekeeper for them and asks him to get out of the way to the second chamber. The kids start to talk about how they suffered because of Isaac, and he must have planned to enter first and place traps for the others. Isaac looks back, thinking there are still so many survivors. Nigel points at Shuri, telling him he never knew Joshua's house could be this cowardly. Nigel accuses Shuri of being in cahoots with Isaac, which shocks Shuri. Shuri tells them he was not in cahoots with Isaac, but they ignore him and turn toward Isaac. Kneeling in front of Isaac, Nigel asks the other guys if they also saw how Isaac avoided all the traps, which seems impossible. Nigel looks at the ring in his neck and says it must be an artifact, and everything must be happening because of it, and snatches it from Isaac. He shows his partners that now they will be able to avoid all the traps with the ring. In this whole situation, Shuri is shocked that Isaac is so calm. Shuri knows that Isaac would never let someone steal something from him without fighting back. Nigel starts to walk away, telling the other kids that now they do not need the Joshuas. Moving forward, he says they will bring the Skeleton King's corpse, which even the Saintesses could not bring back. He tells everyone it belongs to the house secretary, and he will bring it back. Just when he moves forward, a huge fire breaks out, and Nigel starts screaming, telling everyone it was a trap. Shuri figures that Isaac baited them all on purpose. Later, when all of them have been taken down by the fire, Shuri walks into the second chamber with Isaac on his back. Isaac figures all the mines and similar traps in the second chamber have been set off. But there are some more kids following him, which annoys Isaac again. One of the kids tells the others that Isaac has some divine kind of energy and thinks that Nigel was dumb for thinking the ring was an antique piece. Whisper grins, telling Isaac that the kids have learned of his magnificence, and Isaac figures he does not need their reverence. Shuri wishes he could tell the kids to run away, and that the monster atop his head is more terrifying than any demon. A guy comes forward, confessing that they believe if there is a saint among them, it must be Isaac. The guy greets Isaac, telling them he is Paris Julius, the second prince of the Julius kingdom. Isaac hears guys whispering that Julius is the kingdom to the east of Hela, and their prince received a divine blessing. Isaac figures that Paris can be a useful kid to him. Just then, Shuri tells Isaac they have reached the third gate. A voice welcomes the candidates. The voice says this is the third chamber called Rumination. Some angel-like figures come in front of the children, telling them to demonstrate their courage and resolve. The kids behind them think it is good that they are following Isaac instead of Nigel. The angelic figure tells the kids to defeat them and claim their honor. The other kids think they need to beat the angelic figures, and this would be it. But Isaac looks at the figures keenly and recognizes them, thinking, this will be fun. Isaac stops the other kids, and Shuri also figures that Isaac is right that the gatekeeper is lying. Shuri recalls how Isaac ran from the first chamber and then did not hold back even in the second chamber. Shuri figures that in this third chamber, rumination is just a hint, and he needs to remember the scenes from the first two chambers. After recalling, he figures they must not attack the figures. Isaac asks everyone to go to the other side, and Shuri asks if Isaac is actually helping them. Shuri thinks that, despite being a devil, he must have Joshua's blood in him, which is the blood of the House of Saintesses. Shuri thinks he might have misjudged Isaac this whole time. While Shuri is thinking good thoughts about Isaac, Isaac channels his energy and attacks the figures in front of them. Shuri could not believe he had just done this. Just then, the figure comes in front with a spear in its hand, announcing that they have failed. The figure starts to attack the kids, and the kids start running here and there, asking someone to save them. The kids have been caught in a fire, and Shuri suspects Isaac has done this on purpose. When he looks at Isaac's face, he realizes he did it on purpose. The creatures start attacking, saying it was so easy for the candidates to trust their words. Isaac figures are the puppets made from the magic of the 14 elite demands called the lying doll. Isaac gets happy as the other kids get beaten by the dolls lying around. As the attack happens, Isaac uses rank 6 holy art called invisibility. The other kids get shocked when they cannot see Isaac or Shuri, and one of them sends the others to find them. Shuri is amazed at how Isaac used the blessing given to them by Rilai at such a good time. On the other hand, Nigel also thanks Isaac for giving him invisibility as well. Then, Isaac tosses the ring toward Nigel. Nigel is shocked and asks if he is giving him this because he is not used to fighting against demons. He checks the ring and thanks Isaac, telling him he won't ever forget this. He says he would tell the king about this as well, but something attacks Nigel, and just like others, he is no longer. At first, Isaac is surprised and then laughs at how he has the most holy power. Shuri, on the other hand, is shocked by how evil Isaac is. Next, one of the kids tells the others to gather in one place, whoever can use holy defense art. One of the kids says he would use the first, and the kid in black asks him to get behind him. The lying doll comes at the kids, telling them to accept their permission. The kid in black gives the other kid the head to attack the lying doll. Before the kid can attack, his magic disappears, and he collapses on the ground. The kid in black looks back in confusion and shock. He does not notice the ring beside her, which attacks him, and he collapses on the ground as well. The lying doll itself is shocked to see what is happening. As they collapse, the lying doll travels to the other side to find the others. Whisper tells Isaac that they have absorbed the holy power of everyone on this side. On command, Whisper gets ready to move to the other side to absorb others' power. Isaac notices some more kids getting attacked by the lying doll. Before they can be attacked, Isaac absorbs their power as well. Isaac thinks it is better to knock them down by absorbing their holy power instead of being attacked by the lying doll. Whisper announces to Isaac that he is almost done. But suddenly, a huge fireball-like portal appears. From the fireball appears a creature that pushes a Whisper away. From the portal, Kina appears and calls out to Isaac. Isaac figures he was just wondering about his whereabouts. But even Isaac is shocked to see the power Kina holds around him. Kina even summons a holy spirit, which is usually impossible at this age. Kina says he was surprised that there was another person who could take a demon down. Then, he asks if Isaac led the other kids into a trap like he did in the first chamber. Before Kina could present more assumptions, 2 kids appeared in the back. They defend Isaac by saying that Isaac protected them while trying to do the trial for them. They tell everyone that Isaac saved them. Isaac thinks they are not right in the head, and Whisper thinks this is Stockholm Syndrome. Kina asks the other kids if they are not embarrassed to call themselves saint candidates. The other kids scream at Kina, telling him not to say anything, as he did nothing for them, and was behind all of them. They all tell Kina that he came here without doing anything, and they will inform the adults when they get out of there. They are all telling them that they would tell everyone to follow Joshua's houseboys, and Shuri wants to tell them so badly that this little child is like a demon. Just when the kids were talking, an earthquake occurred. A huge fireball moves up in the air. The kids figure if that is the gate to the 3rd chamber. The voice congratulates them on completing the chamber, and tells them he is the last gatekeeper of the treasury. The gatekeeper asks them to choose the treasure here and finish the test, or face a trial to enter the 3rd chamber. One of the kids screams that they would pick the chamber, and the gatekeeper asks them to choose wisely. The voice again asks them the same question. It tells that if they pass the trial, they will discover the treasure of the third chamber. However, if they don't pass the trial, they will die. All the kids are shocked to hear this. Whisper tells it that it can feel the guardian mana from the voice. Isaac whispers he knows it is a dragon and figures it must be true that failure will lead to death. One of the kids says he would still choose to go to the third chamber, as getting there was too hard to give up. Most of the kids decide they would go to the third chamber. The gatekeeper understands that the kids are choosing to risk death to face this trial and prepares the trial for the kids. The gatekeeper announces that whoever is here has gathered to become a saint will now face a trial. With that, a huge explosion occurs, and all the kids feel the terror while Isaac keeps laughing. The gatekeeper tells them the trial will be simple and asks them to worship God. In front of them, a huge statue appears. The kids do not understand that once again, a statue appears, and it is specifically a statue of a cardinal this time. The gatekeeper tells them to show respect to the god, and only those who have shown their piety in front of the statue can go into the third chamber. The kids figure they need to kneel and pray in front of the statue, which does not seem too hard to them. Isaac grunts, thinking they want him to kneel in front of the guy who messed with him for hundreds of years. The kid in black moves forward, praising the statue. He kneels, telling that the god is worthy of all glory and honor. As he worships, the gatekeeper tells him he has learned well and allows him to pass. The others figure now they, too, only have to worship to pass. Just then, Isaac jumps on the floor. Shuri tells him he should also pray, but Isaac refuses. He kicks Shuri, and he collapses on the ground. Kina moves forward, praying to the statue. Kina asks others to observe him and worship the statue in this manner. The other kids start to move forward to worship as well. Shuri is shocked to see them all, while the gatekeeper asks again if they all are choosing death by giving up. The statue listens to them while worshiping.
He then asks Isaac if he won't kneel in front of him.
Isaac tells him that he is not insane and that he would kneel. The kids cannot believe it and question whether Isaac has some issues with faith. The kids think the Joshuas are losing their faith with time and think of them as a devilish family. Kina thinks that this is all getting recorded, and Isaac's position can be taken away for such behavior. Kina relaxes after thinking that if Isaac does not show any faith, it is over for him. The gatekeeper announces that the child of the saintess is acting disrespectfully. Isaac tells him that he would rather die than kneel in front of him. Isaac furiously tells the gatekeeper to kill him instead. Just then, an earthquake starts to occur, and the gatekeeper announces that whoever disrespects him will die. Isaac collapses on the ground and tells the gatekeeper to do whatever he wants to kill him. Isaac furiously channels his power and decides to destroy the statue. Whisper tells Isaac that this is dangerous. Isaac does not listen, channels his power, and attacks the statue. The gatekeeper thinks this is outstanding. Isaac feels shocked. The gatekeeper announces that he has passed and can move to the third chamber. Kina screams, reminding him that Isaac has not shown any respect, and those who won't shall die. The gatekeeper says that the only one here who has the right to go into the third chamber is Isaac, as he is the only one who showed great faith in God. The gatekeeper again says that others knelt in front of a statue and not God. He asks if their faith tells them to bow down to idols. Shuri and the other kids figure out that this is a trick. They figured the statue was the same as their god, as shown in the portraits, but they were not supposed to bow down. The gatekeeper tells them to look at Isaac, who did not lose faith. He announces that only Isaac can move to the next chamber. Kina furiously screams that this is unacceptable. Kina moves forward, saying that there is no way to tell if the baby refused to kneel because of his faith, as he cannot even speak. Whisper smirks, saying even though Kina is speaking out of anger, he is right. Kina questions whether Isaac has such good faith, but he still does not have a stigmata. Everyone is shocked that he does not have a stigmata. Kina smirks and looks at everyone, knowing he is the only one without stigmata, and a saint without a stigmata is not possible. The gatekeeper himself is shocked that a saint candidate is here without stigmata. But then he tells everyone that this is because he is just a baby. Everyone else is shocked to hear such remarks from the gatekeeper. Kina screams, telling that this does not make sense and is shocked that the statue could move this whole time. The gatekeeper again says that babies do not need to have the stigmata yet. Kina screams, telling that if Isaac can go, then he should go too. The gatekeeper tells them that they should know that a stigmata does not show up because one is just great. He asks if everyone feels the same way and asks if they all want to enter the chamber. All the kids say that they want to go inside. The gatekeeper tells everyone that they can all go to the third chamber. Shuri is not sure if this is true, that the gatekeeper would let anyone in easily. The gatekeeper says that if they really wish to fly into the flame like moths, then he will let them. With that, he opens the chamber, and a dark energy comes out of the chamber. But everyone starts to choke on the dark energy. The voice asks if they feel the demonic energy coming from the body of the Skeleton King. He says that they do not know their place, and he was going to spare the weaklings who could not understand the energy. When everyone is choking on the demonic energy, only Isaac is standing, smirking at the demonic energy. Isaac figures he has found what he was looking for, and the Skeleton King's body is his body. Isaac starts to feel excited that this is his body, and he never thought he would see this again after he self-destructed the realm. He starts getting up after seeing such mana coming out. All the kids look at Isaac as the gatekeeper tells them that Isaac is the child who proved his faith, and he has the face of a courageous warrior. But all the kids think that Isaac has lost his mind for acting like this. The fire again appears with a great demonic energy, and the gatekeeper tells that if one is not a warrior who can smile in the face of death like Isaac, then he should leave. The gatekeeper says that if one turns his back now, he will allow them to pick up their treasure from the second chamber. The kids cannot believe they have to break through this demonic energy. Some of them decide they should go back and choose the best item in the second chamber. Kina steps forward, saying he does not need treasure from the second chamber, and they will advance to the third chamber. Kina asks the gatekeeper to activate all the traps in the third chamber. Everyone thinks Kina is being crazy. The gatekeeper asks if he truly wishes for all the traps to be activated. Kina says that no past saint or saintess was able to bring back the skeleton of the king's corpse, and even Saintess Melissa could not manage it. The gatekeeper asks if he knows anything about the third chamber. Kina thinks Saintess Melissa would never let children die and thinks that this must be the countermeasure she prepared to prevent their deaths. Kina tells the gatekeeper that he does not wish for others to say that he chose the easy way out. Then, he asks again to set the third chamber to its normal difficulty mode, and this way, they can surpass the Saintess. Isaac thinks that Kina does have some screws loose. The gatekeeper tells Kina he will listen if he truly wishes for it. He says it will be easy to find the true saint among the candidates. The other kids cry, asking Kina if he should have gone himself instead of dragging everyone with him. They keep questioning him and dragging them with him. Suddenly, they are all being pushed inside the third chamber. Inside the chamber, there is a skeleton hand in the middle of the chamber. Isaac looks inside and thinks this looks like a demon realm inside there. Isaac looks at the body of the skeleton present in the middle of the chamber. Whisper asks Isaac to look at the sublime body. Isaac gets excited seeing his body and thinks the body must have been slowly absorbing power inside the third chamber. One of the kids asks if that is the Skeleton King's corpse. The other is shocked to see if the demonic energy is coming from a single hand. Isaac smirked, thinking the demonic energy they were feeling was only from his thumb, and he figured that the rest of the sublime body was a replica. Just when they were all busy looking at the hand, a huge dragon appeared. The kids start to shout at the sight of the demon. The voice reminded them that they themselves had asked to undo the safety measures in the third chamber. Isaac tries to recognize the voice. Then, suddenly, the demon starts to growl and scream at the kids. The kid in black starts to accuse Kina of everything. Kina asks him to trust him, and he will make sure that everyone leaves with the treasure from here. Kina recalls that one of the 14 elite demons, the most trusted subordinates of the Skeleton King, was captured by the Papal House. He recalls that before this, he studied and prepared a holy art to deal with it and decided that the treasure would be his. He moves forward and asks the demon to kneel. The demon growls as the light of the Papal House appears. Kina gets excited that his art worked, and now he would just need the Skeleton King. Just then, the demon asks him if this is him. Kina is shocked. The demon asks if he is the one who covers his king's body. While Rilai and others are present at the entrance to the treasury, everyone is trying to figure out whatever is happening inside as they have also lost contact. The host announces that the demon in the third chamber has been unsealed. Rilai and Simon are terrified. Simon asks if the third chamber has the 14 elite demons. Rilai does not answer, thinks about the elite demon, and figures everyone is in danger inside. Other guys start asking about the elders in the monitoring chambers. One of the other guys says that the elders went to turn off the traps that were activated and have been missing ever since. The other elders figure that the children are in danger. They figure that there is no way children can stop the demon, and they will have to stop the ritual immediately. Just then, a great light comes from the treasury and nearly blinds everyone. Riley looks at it and thinks if this intense light is the treasury opening. A guy tries to inform everyone that this must be the demonic energy, but an elder stops him. The elder says that he cannot sense the demon's aura. One of them asks if they have defeated the demon. Barit smirked, thinking Kina had done it. Everyone is shocked to hear that one of the kids might have defeated the Skeleton King. Simon also thinks it must be Kina due to the holiness of the Pope's blood. Riley speechlessly bites his lip in confusion. Everyone starts to congratulate Barit, and he tells everyone that Kina has worked hard for this moment. Barit smirked, thinking of the Joshuas, who he thought were questioning the Pope's authority. He thinks that now that the Skeleton King's corpse has fallen into their hands, the Joshuas will have to bow down to them. He smirks, thinking their dignity and honor will be gone now. Suddenly, people start to cheer that the kids have returned. Riley prays for Isaac and Shuri to be safe. Everyone meets. As all the kids start coming outside, Riley is relaxed to find out that most of the kids are fine and have no serious injuries. The other people are talking about how the kids from the last chamber have not come out yet. Riley is pretty worried about his boys. Just then, the guys screamed that the last batch of kids was coming out. Eamon and Shuri are present in that batch. All the kids seem pretty tired, and Simon and Gowl run to grab their children. They hug their children, asking if they are alright. But Riley is worried that he cannot see Isaac with them yet. He sees everyone meeting with their kids, but there is no Isaac. Barit also calls for Kina and asks if there is something in his hands. Barit asks if he does not have the body of the Skeleton King in his hands. He scolds Kina for bringing something useless out of the chamber. Just then, a huge ball lights up, and everyone is shocked to see that. Just then, a wolf formed, holding Isaac in his mouth. Riley and others are shocked to see Isaac there. The wolf comes back to the ground, and Riley runs to grab Isaac. Asili comes forward, asking if the wolf is the young holy dragon that guards the treasury. Riley figures it is the dragon that guards the treasury. Even though his form is of a wolf right now, his energy indicates that he is a dragon. Riley figures that the matriarch has a good relationship with the dragon and has invited it into the treasury. But there are some surprising sounds coming. When they move forward, they find Isaac has been producing the sounds. Everyone is shocked to see that Isaac is sucking on something. And when they observe, Isaac is sucking on the Skeleton King's body. Elders are shocked to see him putting that in his mouth, and others cheer that Isaac did bring the body back. Barit furiously asks Kina if he has given the body to Isaac. He tells Kina that it was not a good plan, but letting the hosts have some face is a virtue that a saint must have. Riley listens to Barit from a distance. Just then, the wolf speaks, saying that Isaac has brought the body of the Skeleton King and not Kina. Kina starts crying as he sees that everyone knows the reality. He recalls trying the golden holy art, but it was not working. Then, the demon came forward, wishing for them to die. He attacked the children, causing a huge explosion, but a defensive barrier had already been put above them. When the kids open their eyes, they are shocked to see the barrier. Everyone figures that the barrier is blue, which means Isaac created it. The demon again curses and moves forward to attack. However, Isaac is angry because the demon cannot even recognize his master, so he punches the demon. The story comes to the present, where everybody figures that the wolf won't lie, which means Isaac is the one bringing the body back. Riley is confused and shocked, still saying that this is too dangerous, but Isaac manages to do it. Riley asks about the breakage of the seal, as the 14 elite demons of the Skeleton King are too much for the children. Wolf talks about the 14 elite demons and says that Kina asked him to break the seal. All the kids also confirm that Kina was the one asking to activate all the traps in the chamber. Everyone says that Kina is the reason why they are about to die. Everyone figures that this means Isaac must have beaten Kina. Hearing this, Barit's blood starts to boil. Everyone starts to cheer for Joshua's house, thinking they are actually thinking of rebuilding. Riley figures Isaac has truly done amazing work. All the elders ran to Isaac, asking him to spit the bone as it was dangerous. Isaac pushes all of them away. They are shocked to see Isaac is so strong. At the same time, Isaac has started to absorb all the mana in his surroundings. The elder says Isaac has outdone himself, and the matriarch will be overjoyed. The elder smirked, saying that they could finally track down the Skeleton King and find his soul using tracking arts. Isaac is shocked that this is why they wanted to bring his body out so badly. All the elders are still asking him to give the bone back. They want to use the tracking arts and rip apart the Skeleton King. Isaac thinks they are all crazy. One of the elders asks him to give so they can settle the 150-year-old grudge. But Isaac instead gulps the bone. All the elders start screaming as they see him gulping the bone. The wolf starts to travel back, thinking everyone there is crazy and wishing that they would not see them again. Later, at the Joshua residence, the elders are checking Isaac's excreted material. They are looking for the skeleton's body but cannot find it. Isaac knows that even if they search all day, they won't be finding it. Regardless, Isaac is more worried about whatever happened inside the treasury. Isaac recalls when he punched the demon because he could not recall his master. The demon questions, asking if he is the master. He says he thought this world would end when he heard the news that his master had passed away. But he says that he knew he would return. The demon decides he has to serve his master now, but he starts to disappear, and Isaac hoped that the demon should have stayed longer as he had so many questions to ask. Isaac thinks that they said it was the papal house that captured them and decides he should look more into it. Just then, Riley comes asking Isaac to drink more milk and poop. Riley orders his servants to bring more laxatives, and Isaac smirks, thinking that one day he will be destroying the family. An elder comes telling that if the matriarch finds out about this, they might all be executed, and she might even open Isaac's stomach. Riley asks the elder to calm down, but then she starts worrying that the matriarch has already cut her son's flank before, and she can do the same to her grandchild as well. Whisper asks Isaac if Melissa goes on a pilgrimage with the patriarch. Isaac figures it will probably be a while longer before the pilgrimage ends, and he just needs to finish absorbing the mana and escape before she gets back. But then the door opens, and Gowl asks for Riley to come with him. Gowl says that the matriarch is calling for Riley. Riley is shocked, screaming that his mother has already arrived because she has never returned this early before. Isaac furiously thinks if this is because of him. He checks his mana core and figures he yet has to absorb more mana. Isaac feels terrified as Melissa can definitely open his stomach. Later, everyone is looking at the treasure brought into the residence. Riley asks if these are all for Isaac and asks if the matriarch has not returned. Gowl smirks, telling them she has not. He says they just received a voice message from the matriarch, and she is on her way back. Isaac curses the guy who is giving them the wrong news to tease them. Captain appears, informing that the papal house has sent a tribute as well. One of the elders says they should sell the goods from the papal house to someone as stolen goods. Captain tells them not to say such things as the messenger from the papal house is listening. The messenger speaks, telling us that the emperor is showing a lot of interest in this incident, so he has come with a tribute to house Joshua from the papal house as an apology and a sign of gratitude. Then, he smiles, saying it seems like their tribute does not mean much to them. Then, he opens the box, saying he thinks after saying the tribute, their minds will change. Everyone is shocked when great light emerges from the box, and inside is the Triple Crown. Isaac does not know anything about it, and Whisper says it is a medal that has the Pope's emblem engraved. No one can believe that Isaac received the medal from the Pope. The messenger asks Riley to accept as it is a gift for Isaac. Isaac, on the other hand, wants them to hand it directly to him instead of Riley. Riley asks if the Pope actually wanted him to receive it instead of Isaac. The messenger again tells that he was ordered to hand it to Riley no matter what, and Riley is shocked and terrified. The elder asks if the messenger is in his right mind that he is giving Isaac's medal to a family member. The elder asks if he does not know the meaning of this. He reminds them that it means the recipient of the medal is deceased. Isaac and Whisper are shocked to hear this. The messenger asks them not to misunderstand their intentions. He says he simply wished for him to hand it to a family member since Isaac is so young. The elder screams that his intentions do not explain the ribbon. He reminds him that the sunflower is handed to fallen soldiers to honor their heroic deeds. The other elder gets furious for mocking them so blatantly. Gowl tries to calm the elders down and asks them not to speak so recklessly. Gowl tells the elder that he is a representative of the Joshua house, so he must antagonize the papal house, but they must not escalate it. Gowl thinks he never knew it was possible to make them know their place by giving them such a hateful gift. He knows this must be Cardinal's handiwork, and even when he is from his maternal family, he is still disgusted. But now he knows Rilai won't be able to run like before, and this is good for him. Gowl asks Rilai to accept the gift and show his gratitude. Rilai does not want to accept it, but Gowl does not listen. Isaac figures this won't do, and he uses his magic to attack the metal. The metal goes up in the air, and a flame starts to arise. Everyone is shocked to see the holy flame appearing. The messenger is shocked and questions about whoever did this. When everyone turns, they can see Isaac doing it, and a flame appears on his hand as well. The messenger starts to scream, asking if he knows what he is doing to the metal bestowed by the Pope. He asks if this is a rebellion against a Pope. The elders start screaming, saying that they did not do anything. It was just a baby's doing. Rilai appears, grabs the metal, and tells him to consider that they never received the metal and an accident occurred before he came here. The messenger asks in shock if he is supposed to do whatever Rilai tells him to. Rilai shows him the metal, asking if he should be receiving the metal that has been melted by a mere infant. All the elders are shocked to see that the metal actually melted. The messenger asks Rilai to give him the metal and says he must have brought the wrong item. Just when the messenger is asking back for the metal, it starts to light up on the holy fire. The elders laugh, calling Isaac a prankster. The messenger feels exhausted and runs out in a few minutes. The elders cheer for Isaac, telling them that this is like cleaning up years of build-up frustration. Another elder asks Gowl to throw the metal right away. The elder laughed, telling the matriarch should have seen the face of the Pope's messenger. They praise Rilai for using the holy fire, but Rilai is shocked. Another elder comes to and whispers to Rilai, asking if he was the one who cast the art of holy flame on Isaac. Rilai scratches his face, asking if the elders were the ones who did it. The elders are all shocked, and they tell them that Rilai is the one who has been doing this all. Rilai opens up by saying that he only casts the invisible holy art. The elder reminded them that Isaac did use the swift step 1, too. Then, they understand that all the holy arts were cast by Isaac. Next, the Book of Secret Techniques is a mythical grade treasure that allows one to immediately learn a secret technique and use it. It was the book Isaac used to learn everything in figures. The book is weaker than when he was the Skeleton King, but it is still usable. The elders are still questioning if it is Isaac's mother who has been casting holy spells. Another elder clears that Isaac's mother had the fire attribute, and Isaac has the completely opposite one. An elder says that this is in a whole different realm from mere talent, and it is the same as writing a poem without learning to read. The elder says even the Saint Melissa, who was praised as a genius, had to learn the letters at least before using the holy arts. Just then, Asili calls everyone, asking if removing the Pope's blessing is also surprising or not. Once again, all the elders felt glad that it had happened. An elder asks them to bring the metal as he wants to test it. Rilai agrees, but then is shocked and informs that the metal is not here. The elder starts screaming, and Gowl tells them that he has thrown the metal away. Everyone looks shockingly at Gowl, and he says they were the ones who told him to throw it away. The elder tells him that he still cannot throw it just like that, and orders the others to try and find and retrieve it. Gowl can't stop thinking that Isaac melted the metal given by the Pope, who is supposedly capable of resisting any flame. Gowl thinks he needs to refrain from reaching the matriarch and hides the metal in his pocket. He smirked, thinking no one would find the metal, and then this all would just be a rumor. A few days later, in the western part of the Joshua Duchy, the Patriarch and Melissa are still on their pilgrimage. The matriarch asks the students to focus on the mansion, which is near, and they need to focus till the end. But something in the water catches Patriarch's eye, and he is now focused on the other side. On the other side, at the residency, besides giving several laxatives, the elders are not able to retrieve the Skeleton King's body. The elders are crying that they have already used 300 bottles, but nothing is happening, and they have even given Isaac 500 sylvan fruits. Isaac burps, thinking the fruit is fantastic, and he has also heard that it can increase the affinity with divine beasts. He smirked, thinking that divine beasts serve as tools or partners for battles, and that they can be mandatory for him to crush the Pope and the gods. He thinks if Joshua has some divine beast in their household. Just then, a dolphin appears, which is Terran Bloon, the house of Joshua's divine beast. Isaac hears someone talking about going to the banquet first, and then he sees the Patriarch entering. Everyone bows in front of the patriarch, and Isaac figures this might be his grandfather. The survival origin shines on the patriarch, and Isaac figures this might be a good sign. Riley comes forward, asking the patriarch to give them some time as cutting Isaac open won't be good. But Isaac already has a feeling that the patriarch won't cut his stomach down. But, to his surprise, the patriarch orders to burn Isaac. Isaac and Riley both are dreaded by this order. Isaac thinks that his survival origin is broken, and that this household is crazy. The only person he can trust here is Riley. Riley defends that Isaac is too little to put on fire, and Isaac cannot believe that he is considering his age in this. Riley asks his father to rethink his decision, while Gowl says the reward is too excessive for Isaac. Isaac can't believe that bringing him is a reward, but then he hears them saying that it is possible to take out the Skeleton King's body if they put Isaac on fire, and he might even get stronger with the fire's blessing. Riley asks his father for some more time, while Gowl is still proposing to cute Isaac's stomach. But Riley proposes that they should try to drown Isaac in water. Isaac thinks this whole household is crazy, and he should ruin it as soon as possible. Gowl says the temple's fire and water are both Joshua's secret techniques, particularly used for raising the saintess. He adds that it cannot be used for an infant with no ability. Riley gets furious and asks if he still thinks Isaac has no ability. Isaac thinks this is probably good considering how adamant Gowl is against him. Gowl says Shuri is more befitting for his blessing, as it was Shuri who defeated the demon inside the treasury. Riley reminds Gowl that Isaac was the one who was defeated, and it was all testified by the holy dragon. Gowl says the dragon must have been mistaken, and a baby who cannot even walk cannot beat the demon. Riley asks Gowl not to be reasonable and reminds him that he is going too far. He reminds that Isaac burned the Pope's medal by casting the holy flame and asks if Gowl would deny that as well. Gowl says he does not believe that Riley could have colluded with the elders and might have cast the flame. Gowl tries to remind that there is no evidence of it, but the patriarch cuts them off, showing them the medal, asking if they are talking about this. The only person connected to God is the Pope, and the gold that bears the Pope's blessing was the medal that was being presented to them. Isaac is shocked that it was not easy to melt it when he was the skeleton, but it happened within seconds now, and something seems suspicious. Isaac questions himself if he has been stronger in his reincarnated body. Riley and others are shocked to see it in the Patriarch's hands. Patriarch tells them that he picked it up on the way when he was at the bottom of the Elisva Lake. Riley tells his father that Isaac is skilled enough with fire to the point where he managed to burn the Pope's family symbol. Isaac smirks, thinking this can prove Joshua's upper hand against the Pope's family. The elders are talking that Isaac can withstand the Skeleton King's flame as well, while Isaac smirks. Riley says their people suffered huge losses recently because of the Skeleton King, who has been hiding. The elder agrees, telling the Skeleton King's era will be revived if they do not do anything about it. Whisper tells Isaac that he thinks someone is impersonating him. Isaac thinks it is not like he is concerned about the person who is impersonating, but this doesn't matter, as this will make it easier for him to move. Whisper agrees with Isaac, while Riley screams, telling that it all happened 70 years ago when the Skeleton King appeared in Joshua's mansion to cast his curse. Isaac is shocked at this news to him. Riley furiously tells that the Skeleton King attacks them, claiming he would eradicate the Saintess's bloodline, and it is infuriating just to think about the curse. Whisper says if it were 70 years ago, there is no way it would have been Isaac who did it. Isaac figures that the Skeleton King intended to put a curse on them, and this is why they think he won't live long. But Isaac smirks, thinking that some demons' curses are just child's play for him. Isaac thinks he can work while suppressing it with mana. But the elder says even if the Skeleton King does not kill them, the decrease in reproductive ability could make them impotent or stop growing in height. Isaac gets furious at the impersonator and wants to kill them all. Whisper mocks Joshua's hair loss problems, saying this might be just a genetic issue. The Patriarch says that if Isaac's eyes are red, they must be because of the curse. He tells everyone fire and water are too weak. Isaac thinks the Patriarch is giving even more bad feelings. But the Patriarch says he would grant Isaac the Holy Spirit. Everyone is shocked, including Isaac. The Holy Spirit is the divine faction's spirit that can only be obtained through bestowal. Isaac thinks he needed it to reach the transcendental rank that even the gods cannot easily reach. Isaac thinks he has gotten a sudden jolt, and once he gets the Holy Spirit, he will reach the transcendental rank and beat up all the gods. Gowel tells his father that the Holy Spirit is too much for Isaac. He says the Holy Spirit has only been bestowed upon those who have brought honor to their house. He says that by breaking the medal, Isaac has only provoked the Pope's family, and they won't stay quiet about this. Isaac is tired of Gowel being the bad one. The patriarch calls Gowel, asking about his actions when the medal was sent as a mockery. Gowel could not answer. The patriarch reminds Gowel that they dared to pick a fight with them within their territory, and Gowel was letting them go without defending themselves. The patriarch asks if he has done anything else despite criticizing his own nephew, and now he is trying to take away his childhood as well. The patriarch says that even the animals protect the abbeys on their backs, and Joshua is the family that protects the smallest things. He says the smallest one that was supposed to protect their pride instead. Isaac smirks, hearing all this about him. While Gowel collapses on the ground, the patriarch orders everyone to gather in the main building. He informs everyone that they will be blessing Isaac here. A few days later, Riley asks about the spirit his father is giving to Isaac. The patriarch asks if Riley does not understand and tells that Isaac will end up with a disability if they put him in fire or water to take out the skeleton king's body. He says the temple's fire and water completely reject anything demonic because they are way too powerful. He adds that Isaac won't be able to learn the holy arts of exorcism if that happens. Riley figures that if they put him in fire or water, then he won't be able to rise above the 5th rank as a high priest. The patriarch clarifies that Isaac will stay at the 4th rank his entire life. The patriarch says he will let Isaac choose between fire, water, and the Holy Spirit, and this will be his test. Gowel gets happy to know that Isaac won't be given the spirit so easily. The arch puts 3 of those in front of Isaac and asks him to choose one. Riley thinks about everything and wishes for Isaac to choose the white bead. Isaac tries to go for red, and Riley prays for him to choose white. But to everyone's surprise, Isaac chooses a red bead. As he chooses, Gowel tells Riley not to be too disappointed, and tells him 4th rank is enough when it comes to a boy for Joshua to bring honor to the house. But to their shock, the red bead breaks and flames start to arise everywhere. The elders are shocked to see the temple flames. From the temple flames arises the Holy Spirit. All the elders are here and there and are shocked at it. Gowel questions his father on the Holy Spirit being in the red bead. His father tells him not to make a great fuss and tells him that he never said there was only one Holy Spirit among them. Gowel is furious at the incident. The patriarch says that water is Joshua's foundation. Yet Isaac melted the Pope's gold with fire, which is why he set the trap in the last trial. But Isaac picked the correct answer. The patriarch himself thinks this is unexpected. Just then, the Holy Spirit screams the patriarch's name and says he must have completely lost. She asks if Joshua dared to summon her, who is ranked as a king, to the human realm. The spirit gets furious and starts to attack everywhere, while the elders order to cast a holy spell here. Gowel asks his father about calling the king and asks if he is planning to incinerate their domain. Joshua says he did not summon the king. He points at Isaac, telling him he summoned the king. He looks at Isaac and thinks he might really end up dying here now. Isaac himself is worried that he used a bit of holy power to summon a medium rank, but somehow, a royal popped up. Whisper also questions Isaac on doing so. Isaac thinks that if he had actually put effort in, something even bigger might have come. The king appears with anti-demonic flames around him. Whisper tells Isaac that this will be very good for him. As the flames keep eating everyone there, the problem is that Isaac needs to make the king submit to him. Whisper tells Isaac to do it properly. Isaac tells that the royal rank spirits are connected to the heavens, and he cannot get too close to that god just yet. People are screaming, asking the patriarch to send the royal ranks back as soon as possible, and it is a crazy spirit slash. Patriarch thinks that if he got flack for the color of his hair, he would cut ties with the gods too. But he does not know the reason for this spirit being ostracized. The spirit asks everyone to be silent. The spirit comes to the patriarch asking the reason for his summoning him in a subordinate ritual. Patriarch tells him that he was not the one who summoned him. The spirit tells him this does not make sense, as he must have summoned him with his authority. The patriarch points at Isaac, telling him he summoned him. The spirit is at first shocked and then furious, telling the patriarch that he must be out of his mind for sacrificing a child to summon him. Joshua says that he did not do such a thing. He points at the kid, asking what the patriarch did to the child, even though the house is falling apart. Isaac keeps laughing and drooling, and the spirit thinks he has gone crazy. Isaac figures that he is definitely snagging this spirit for sure and wants to use it as a filter for his mana. The spirit says he will see this himself and will attack the child, and if he survives, then this means he summoned him. The spirit attacks Isaac, and the patriarch runs toward Isaac in worry. The spirit thinks he will meet a peaceful ending here, but to his shock, Isaac survived the attack. Eli asks if he is convinced that Isaac summoned them. Eli asks him to either contract with the child or refuse and receive his punishment. The spirit asks if they think he can be punished at this rank. He says that, as he is already here, he will burn down Joshua's house and relish his freedom. The spirit tells Eli to watch as his residence burns. As Isaac sees the spirit, he takes it into his mouth. All the elders run, telling Isaac not to swallow this time. The spirit cannot believe that Isaac keeps swallowing things. The spirit decides to retreat and says he will come back. Isaac figures he is about to use the teleportation skill, but to his surprise, he cannot use his teleportation skill. While being inside Isaac's mouth, the spirit senses dark mana and screams of its sins. Eli figures that Isaac swallowed the thumb of the Skeleton King, which is why there is dark mana. Isaac laughs and thinks that holy spirits are the purest beings in the entire holy faction. They are practically highly energy personified and are weak to dark mana. The spirit has started to lose its strength and is about to give up. He screams, asking everyone to stop Isaac, but Eli covers his ears, not wanting to hear his voice. They tell the Skeleton King's powers are too strong for them to approach. The spirit tells them they are all crazy, as they are acting normally in the name of the Skeleton King. Eli says if the spirit stays with the grandchild and purifies all of the Skeleton King's dark mana, then he will send him back. The spirit thinks they are taking him too lightly. Eli tells him that if he won't cooperate, then he can stay and get eaten. He says he hates everyone, and if they were not the bloodline of the Saintess, he would have cut ties already. The spirit decides to use Isaac to take everyone down. Isaac keeps trying to swallow his spirit more and more. The spirit begs everyone to leave him for 4 days with Isaac and says 4 days would be enough for this child. Eli thinks this is underwhelming. He orders everyone to open the castle gates and take Isaac and the spirit out. He asks not to allow anyone to enter until the purification is compelled. Gowl and Rilai are shocked and try to question, but Eli tells them not to say anything. Isaac brings the spirit out of his mouth and grabs it with his hand. He figures the eastern castle's right next to the annex, which is where the mana cores are, and he gets happy. The servants outside figure that it is caused by Isaac, which is basically due to the Skeleton King and his mana. One of them asks others if they also think that the next in line will probably go to Gowl of the Pope's bloodline or his brother. The other one says Isaac has been cursed and is no longer in contention. Another one asks if Isaac is actually cursed. He tells them that since yesterday, 4 servants who went in ran out terrified. They say the servants have told Isaac has a form of balding old man. The girl between them tells them that Isaac has already been there with the Holy Spirit for 10 years. At the Joshua Manor, in the East Wing, a girl comes out of the room screaming. Asili moves forward and opens the door to the room. She informs Isaac that she has arrived. She asks if Isaac is okay, and he is sucking on a candy. She cannot believe the curse is so strong that he is still too short. Isaac smirked, thinking he was sitting small on purpose, and they thought it was because of some curse. It is because babies absorb power better than anyone else, and there is a level one can reach only as a baby. The spirit wakes up, stretching his arm. Asili asks if he slept well. Shalak says he is purifying Isaac no matter what. He adds that he was almost able to finish yesterday, but then again crushes at Isaac as today again. He has so much more demonic mana. He screams, thinking that there is so much more demonic mana in there, and whenever he wakes up, there is always more than before. Isaac smiles, thinking this because he has been absorbing mana from mana cores every night for the past 10 years. Whisper also laughs, saying he did not know there would be so much mana under the annex. Whisper says that he thought this work would be done in 40 years, but to his surprise, Isaac has done this in 10 years. Isaac figures he is done collecting mana, and he did not get to learn well because he had to learn on his own. But now, he is capable of 6th rank holy spells. Asili moves forward, saying that it will all be okay as the popes are also mobilizing now. Isaac gets confused to hear about the pope. Asili explains that they are going to execute all of the Skeleton King's minions who threaten the Empire, which is the 14 demons. Isaac is shocked to hear this. Asili says they will soon be able to get the last of the Skeleton King's mana out of him. Isaac cannot believe they are doing this, and they don't know how much he would have to do. Asili gives Isaac candy and tells him to rest. Isaac figures he has to do something about popes as soon as possible. Outside, Gowel and Shuri are walking. Gowel tells him that not only did he skip a grade, but he is also the youngest ordained priest. Gowel tells him that the princess is also coming on his ordination, so he can escort her while being at the top of his class. Shuri tells him that this is nothing as he is his son. Gowel feels pretty proud of Shuri doing so much. But suddenly, he disappears, which leaves Gowel shocked. Isaac calls Shuri to him, and Shuri falls into Isaac's room. He greets Shuri and asks if he wants to die. Isaac asks if he cannot stop lying and asks if he thinks he can just get away because he got into the academy. Shuri is terrified that Isaac is again being a part of his life. Isaac tells him that he managed to achieve this all because he coached him. Shuri screams that he did his best and asks if he thinks it is easy to be ordained and be at the top of his class. Isaac reminds him that this would have been impossible if he had been on his own, and Shuri agrees. Isaac thinks he should be preparing for all this, as well as most holy spells are only available to someone when they are ordained. He asks Shuri to help him. Shuri asks him about the help he needs from. He asks Shuri to give him everything he wants. He tells him to give him the prize money for the quiz competition and the things Gowel gave him. Shuri figures Isaac is again being a demon. Then, Isaac asks him about the Skeleton King's minions being killed. Shuri says that since the relic storage incident, they do not listen to orders anymore. He adds that they all seem like they are waiting to die, so they are going to get executed. Isaac says that he will do it within the year. Shuri questions him on his plans, and Isaac says he will be doing the priest's ordination. Shuri tells him he is not even in the academy and asks if he has plans to do it. He laughs at him. Isaac asks if he is laughing, and Isaac says he is not. Shuri tells him that there is a recommendation system, and that some academy professors are here as well. He says that with a letter of recommendation, one can be ordained if they pass the test. Isaac figures this is a convenient way of nepotism. Shuri says that for that, he needs to have done something to prove his character. Isaac questions Shuri as he thinks badly of his father and his character. Shuri tells them that they only write someone's recommendation if one has saved someone's life, and the higher in society, the better. He says it won't be easy to find someone like that in the priest's place, let alone save them. Isaac figures he only has 1 month and asks if Princess is coming. Shuri hesitantly confirms that the princess is coming. Isaac asks if a princess is of a very lofty position in society. Later, at the training grounds of Joshua Manor, Ile asks some people to go away, telling them that Isaac won't go to the capital. The guy says that it is different this year. One says that Isaac needs to come to the Foundation Festival this year because it is where all the saint candidates are being ordained. This puts Ili in some serious thought. He figures that while all the other candidates have been making a name for themselves these past 10 years, Isaac has not shown himself to this world. The guy told Isaac had performed an incredible feat in the relic storage 10 years ago. He says he has heard that Isaac is in the East Wing, like the saints all once have, and everyone is excited to see how much he has grown. The woman says that as an educator, it is her life's wish to teach Isaac, and this ordination is on the same date as the princess's birthday, so the Pope will be there too. They are putting Ili in confusion. The woman says the Pope is going to personally grant hero titles to the ones being ordained. Ili thinks that receiving a hero title multiplies one's strength, and it would greatly benefit him. But he still tells them that Isaac is not old enough to be ordained. They are choked, asking if there is something significant about age in the face of talent. Ili is tired of answering them and tells them to do whatever they want to. But he tells them to take responsibility for their words. Another explosion occurs, and a man stands outside, observing the explosion from a distance. Seeing the explosion, he figures that Isaac is there. As the smoke arises, the man is shocked that to summon a royal rank spirit and contract with it, something even the Pope can only do for a short period of time, and a spirit exorcism is not a usual thing. He is shocked that the summoned spirit is a black-haired spirit of fire, which refers to the one who manages the barriers of heaven, and could not become the spirit king because of the wicked treatment. The man thinks that the Pope and his family love to collect spirits, so they will go insane. He guesses that if he manages to steal this spirit and give it to them, they will definitely reward him. He recalls that he also has something that neutralizes divine mana, so his preparations are complete. He figures if he suppresses the little kid's divine mana, the Skeleton King's dark mana is sure to go berserk. He decides he just needs to smuggle the spirit away while things are in chaos. The teachers have entered the room to see Isaac. They are shocked to see that Isaac is the same size as he usually is. Isaac becomes cute and looks at everyone, and everyone thinks he is super cute. They want to take him to the academy as soon as possible. The guy from before comes inside thinking that Isaac is charming people from here, and he wants to make the Skeleton King's mana go berserk with all he has. He picks Isaac up and hugs him, wanting to take him to berserk. As he takes Isaac, he thinks of him as very cute. But the guy is shocked that nothing is happening, even though he has let out enough of his holy mana to make the dark mana go rogue. Just then, Shalak notices him, questions him about being here, and orders him to kill the priest as soon as possible. The man notices the royal rank spirit and figures this is his chance now. The guy brings out his handkerchief and starts to wipe Isaac, asking if he is sweating due to the weather. Isaac smells the handkerchief and understands his intentions. Just then, the spirit starts to choke on something. He starts to disappear away as a loud explosion occurs, and the spirit rises in the air. The man asks the others if the spirit is going berserk from the Skeleton King's mana. All of them think this is purely dangerous. The professor thinks he just needs to smuggle out the crazed spirit, and then he breaks something in his hands. He uses his magic and the agonizing cleaver to attack the spirit. As they are waiting, the fire magic comes back and attacks the professor instead of the spirit. Isaac smirks as he sees the professor. In no time, Asili and Rilai run inside the room. Isaac starts to use his magic, thinking this will be good as now they have spectators. Isaac starts to absorb the mana throughout the room. The teacher is shocked to see that Isaac is absorbing the mana. The lady says that he is claiming the frenzy. Isaac looks at everyone and figures this will take care of the mana. Isaac thinks this is the time to send the spirit back as well, and with one click of his fingers, the spirit is going back now. Asili and Rilai are shocked to see this and call it Azure Divinity. The spirit was asleep for a second, and then woke back up, not knowing what had just happened. The teachers there are shocked that he controlled the Skeleton King's mana, and he even claimed the Berserk spirit. Rilai thinks this is a miracle. He moves forward, telling Isaac that he has started to speak, and Asili tells him she is so proud of him. Isaac cannot believe that this was the only thing they noticed. All of them picked Isaac and started cheering for him. The professor, with evil intentions, is shocked and does not understand whatever just happened. Shalak tells him he should be the one asking him about this whole thing. He looks at him furiously, asking about the person who did all this. The professor says he was only here to meet Isaac, and that he was not behind on everything. Shalak says that he is the one who is dressed head to toe in first resistant clothes, and he is calling him mistaken. He says from now on, all spirits of force are to cease contact with priests involved with the Pope. He laughs and says that he is doing this because he is pissed off and hopes that he won't get any wrong idea. The professor asks him to wait and asks furiously about his cutting ties with the priests. He tells him that a spirit cannot simply do this, especially to the popes. Shalak asks him not to speak and tells him again that he cut ties with the gods long ago, and that he is no longer bound by rules. Isaac smirks as Shalak says this, and Shalak tells the professor to get out of his sight. Then, Shalak calls Isaac and says he knows that he saved him with divine mana and even managed to tame the Skeleton King's mana. He says that since the Skeleton King's mana was purified, their contract here ends, but he will stay by his side to repay what he has done for him. Isaac is glad, as he knew this would be expected from the Holy Spirits. The teacher gladly tells them that now they will return to the Sancticides and report whatever has happened. She says a child of this caliber must be ordained no matter what. Later, Rilai appears in front of Eli and presents him with a paper. Eli figures the Sancticides approved the ordination of Isaac. Eli informs that they want him to attend this ordination ceremony. Rilai is shocked that they are calling him so quickly and asks if they get fast-tracked because he saved the people of Joshua and the academy. Eli says that he got recommended because he saved a royal rank spirit, and nobody could oppose him after something like that happened. He adds that before that, getting ordained was the same as graduating from the academy. so he tested Isaac to see if he had the required knowledge. Eli says that Isaac got a perfect score on all 1600 questions. Riley cannot believe that Isaac got such a perfect score. He says he wishes for nothing more, as Isaac can speak and walk around fine, too. Eli says it is just that his attitude is so bad. He says that he needs to test his personality now, and most people pass unless they are severely immoral or some kind of criminal. Riley says that he remembers this, and that this is a test with a holy spell that forces him to tell the truth. Eli asks if they should see how he did everything. When he checks the details, he sees that when Isaac is being asked about the household that birthed and fed him, Isaac says that he would conquer it and that it is all his. Riley thinks this is spirited, but Eli is taken aback a little, but that much spirit is expected of one of them. He was asked about his plans after the ordination, and Isaac said he wanted to bite off the heads of the gods. When he was asked to explain his dreams and aspirations as a priest of the Holy Hellen Empire, Isaac said he wanted to destroy the country. Reading the answers, Riley is shocked to his core, and Eli clears his throat, saying that only he and Riley have seen the results. He says that if Isaac takes another test like this one, he will be executed instead of ordained. Riley slams the table and asks him to be ordained in his stead and asks not to let Isaac out of the house in the meantime. Riley slams back and says that he needs some education first. Later, Whisper asks Isaac if he has made his decision. Isaac grabs his luggage and tells him that he is running away from the window. The scene opens with the capital's Roman Academy. At the Holy Spell Division, people are saying that they have heard a 10-year-old is being ordained this time. They are shocked to hear that a child is being ordained, and he must have done something to get ordained this early. They think the graduation ceremony is going to be quite something. One of them laughs at how a child who cannot even walk can be ordained. The other question is about the child not being able to walk. The guy says that even in 10 years, the child has not grown as he was cursed by the Skeleton King, so there is no way he can grow. The guy calls Shuri, asking if he is right. The guy teases Shuri, saying a child cannot be ordained, and this must be an honorary title. Shuri sighs at the guys for being so annoying, and Isaac does, too. The guy with red hair looks back and says being in the Saintess's household is great. Even an unqualified one gets to be ordained. Shuri gets up furiously after hearing this. Just then, the elder comes asking if they think the Sancta Seeds is a joke. She tells the guy who was mocking her that the one who accepted Isaac's recommendation was his father, Duke Leon Sepet. She says she did not think he was big enough of an idiot to insult his father. The kid starts to scold the girl furiously, saying she is not even of the academy and that she should not be here. She says she was invited. She adds she has been instructed to mentor them and act as a holy spell instructor. She calls Shuri, saying he also worries her a lot. Upon asking, she tells him there is no way the cursed Isaac can become a priest, and that Joshua had better be fine until he becomes the patriarch. She asks him to see her if his house falls into ruin, and she will get him a menial position at the house of the Pope. Shuri clenches his wrist but then calms himself, telling him this is not the right time. As she passes by, Shuri tells her that he does not need her, and she teases him as he passes by him. Shuri gets furiously mad at her. At the dormitories, Shuri is furious and angry, questioning his existence. He is mad that his family did not even come to his ordination because Isaac ran away. He curses at Isaac for running away at such a time. He wishes that Isaac would lose all his hair like Skeleton King. Just then, Isaac pops up in his room, asking about his words. Shuri gets scared hearing his voice. Isaac asks him if he wants to die. Shuri questions him about being there. Isaac says he has come here to be ordained and says that the patriarch kept trying to stop him, so he ran away. Isaac brings something out of his jacket, and Shuri starts to get furious, asking if he is going to ask him again for something. Isaac gets angry in return, asking if he is going around getting offered menial positions by the members of the Pope's house. Before Shuri speaks, Isaac hits him in the stomach and asks if they disrespected the name of Joshua's house. Isaac screams that Joshua is his and only he is allowed to insult them, and only he is allowed to drive it to ruin. Shuri does not understand anything. Isaac tells him to remember that he will be the one burning the house of Joshua. Then he asks Shuri not to be a baby and to get up. Shuri asks about his whereabouts, and Isaac tells him he will go to those who messed with Shuri himself. Later, all the academy students are gathered together. Just then, a girl notices Isaac there and questions him about it. while the other one thinks Isaac has really pretty hair. Isaac comes laughing, asking for the person who messed with Shuri Joshua. Isaac sees the redhead and figures he remembers her from the relic storage 10 years ago. Shuri runs behind Isaac, trying to stop him so he won't cause any problems. He looks at the redhead, remembering that she is Nigel's sister, Naki Sepet. Shuri jumps to grab Isaac, but he has already stepped onto the table in front of Naki. Isaac points at her, asking if she messed with Shuri. Naki tells that she has never bothered Shuri Joshua, and the one who did was Nigel. Isaac asks if she has admitted her crime, but she hesitantly clarifies that Nigel bothered Shuri and not her. Whisper tells Isaac that he is getting similar feelings from Naki as well. Isaac figures the energy coming from her is of the 5 major gods. She points at Isaac, recognizing him from the rumors. She adds that one is a cursed infant and the other is a child of the Pope's family. The Azures won't be able to amount to anything this year either. She says it won't be long until the Joshuas are wiped from the 5 faiths. From her rudeness, Isaac figures she must be from the house that serves the 5 major gods. Shuri tells Isaac that they cannot antagonize the House of Crimson, and they should head back home. Isaac tells Shuri to shut up, as he won't go back because he will be getting his ordination. Naki tells him he would never be ordained, as Nigel said he would protest to the Pope and cancel it. Hearing this, Shuri's blood boils with anger. Naki says that with the way Isaac acts, it seems like he will be cancelled even before Nigel protests. Just then, a woman comes calling Naki and asks if they should call an inquisitor just in case. Shuri recalls that 70% of the inquisitors are from House Crimson, and this gets him worried. He grabs Isaac, asking him to go, but just then, they hear some kids screaming due to the appearance of a wolf looking like a monster. Everyone tells each other to run as soon as possible, but Isaac thinks this is his insurance. Everyone questions if the monster has escaped from the practice room. The lady covers Naki and tells her to stay back as this is dangerous. But the monster attacks Naki's servants and puts her to the ground. Naki is shocked as she does not even see the monster approaching for the attack. Just then, Isaac calls the monster and hits it with his weapon. He puts the monster on the ground, trying to save Naki, thinking he kept calling the monster, but it came too late. The monster gets up again and growls at them. Naki tries to attack the monster, but Isaac calls the monster and curses it. The monster growls, but when he feels Isaac's mana, he quickly calms down, winces, and stops. Whisper praises Isaac for dragging out a monster that was resting peacefully, then beating it up and chasing it off as part of his act. Just then, the Inquisitors arrive, asking for the monster. Everyone asks the kids to get away from the monster and figures that the monster has run away. They ask Naki if she is okay. Isaac figures the Inquisitors have arrived. Shuri grabs Isaac, trying to flee from the scene. But, as usual, the Inquisitor stops Shuri, informing he cannot leave until the investigation is complete. Shuri thinks it is over now and tells the Inquisitors that they have done nothing. Naki calls the Inquisitor and asks him not to do anything useless. Pointing at Isaac, she says that Isaac saved her life. Isaac and Shuri stare at her in confusion. She walks toward them and apologizes for whatever she said to them. She adds that she is not particularly thankful to him and tries to show them a little attitude. Everyone else is shocked that Isaac has already received a recommendation because he saved some people, and now he has saved Naki again. The princess of the Holy Helen Empire, Charlotte Elecfreak Hella, appears thinking if Isaac is the one his brother was talking about. In Eli's office, a voice asks Eli the reason for refusal, asking if it is not good that his grandson is being ordained. The voice asks him to allow the ordination, but Eli asks him to shut it. The voice says that the Pope will be enraged. Eli says this is not his problem, and that his grandson will be educated in his manner until he is fully grown. The voice says if they keep a child locked up like that, he will have serious problems in the future. Eli thinks Isaac already has some problems. The voice asks if Eli has heard the news or not that a silver-haired baby is walking around the academy. Eli gets furious, knowing the baby must be Isaac, and furiously calls Riley to his office. Riley quickly runs to his office and Eli orders that they have to go to the capital right now and be there by tomorrow. Riley says that even on the fastest route, it would take them at least a week. Eli tells him they only have 23 hours and 43 minutes left. He orders Riley that they will be running. The next day, Shuri banging on Isaac's door, asking about his plans. He asks Isaac not to try to stuff his tiny body into the priest's robe and asks him to get out already. He tells him they will be laughing at them if they do this. Isaac tells him he has finished, and Shuri enters, telling him to leave for home right now. But when he sees him, he is shocked to see the grown-up Isaac, and Isaac tells him they should head toward the ordination now. On the last day of the Foundation Day Festival Ordination Banquet Hall, there are several kids present in the hall wearing priest robes. The kids get orders to rise from their seats, and the patriarchs of the 5 houses start appearing. Gowl stands up, clapping and thinking that the patriarchs of the 5 houses have appeared, and the next patriarch of Joshua and the cardinal of Azure shall be him. Riley appears, asking if he is late. Gowl is frustrated to see him. Riley asks if he has seen Isaac, and Gowl tells Isaac that he must be home, not here. Isaac feels famished, and Gowl asks if he came here running all the way. Riley agrees and asks him about Shuri. Gowl tries to say that he does not know, but then the Pope, Giulio Barrett, and everyone rises up for him. They all bow and praise the Pope as he arrives. The Pope sits on his throne and asks everyone to sit down. Sitting down, Eli thinks that he still has not seen Isaac. The Pope begins the ordination, and those who were called are asked to step forward. They call the name Isaac Joshua, but no one appears. While drinking, Eli thinks that they should not call someone who is not even here and should move on to the next candidate. Just then, a voice presents himself as Isaac Joshua, and all of them are in shock. Isaac has grown up and walks toward everyone. Everyone is shocked and furious to see him all grown up in no time. Isaac comes forward, and even the other kids are shocked to see him. Riley looks at him and tears up, seeing his growth and seeing that Isaac has put on the priest robe that Riley made for him. Everyone is talking about how they thought he was still an infant, but he must be very powerful to defeat the Skeleton King's curse. Nigel gets furious, questioning Isaac's growth. Isaac calmly looks at everyone and says nothing. Eli himself seems furious at Skeleton King, thinking it has done something to Isaac. He thinks the Skeleton King has possessed his body. The other kid looks at him and thinks he no longer looks cursed and feels threatened. Isaac presents himself in front of the Pope and thinks that the Pope looks over 70, but he radiates energy like a beast. Besides, he sees the faces of all the popes he has fought over the years in him. Isaac asks himself if he should slit his throat right here. Riley and Eli recall that when Isaac was asked about his wish after being newly ordained, Isaac wrote he would want the Pope to stay down on his knees so it would be easy to behead him. Ilya clenched his fist, thinking Isaac needed to be stopped. Eli's hand slipped, and he broke the table. Riley discovered that there was a cockroach. Gowl thinks they have gone crazy. Isaac figured that they were trying to stop him. Shuri will be called next. Shuri appears beside Isaac, and the Pope speechlessly looks at them. The guy says that the kids to be ordained will now pay their respects to the god. Everyone is excited to know about the god who will shine their blessings on Shuri and Isaac. Eli thinks it will probably be the patron saint of Azure. Riley prays it to be the saint of Azure and thinks there should not be a way for some evil god to come to him. Eli says if this happens, then they will be set out to destroy. Riley gets worried hearing such an answer from his father. Shuri moves forward, picking up his finger with a needle. He drops his blood in the holy water, and a mana starts to form right away. Gowl cheers that his son, the patron saint of the cure, will come himself. Shuri returns while Isaac thinks that Joshua served the god of light, which is the miserly god of pure heart, and Isaac picks his finger and thinks he would be pissed no matter what god comes. As Isaac drops his blood, the Pope is shocked, and as his blood touches the water, a great black mana starts to flow out from the water. And, in no time, the Skeleton King appeared in the hall. Eli quickly runs as he sees the Skeleton King. Isaac feels confused about whatever is happening. Riley channels his magic and wishes for the Skeleton King to die. But Skeleton King has chained up Isaac and keeps him to himself. The Skeleton King says that he waited for the Holy One to come, and now he will destroy the Holy Empire piece by piece, starting with Isaac. Chained up, Isaac feels annoyed by the Skeleton King. He thinks the Skeleton King looks exactly like him from before and thinks this is gross. Whisper also screams, asking about the Skeleton King and calling him an imposter. Whisper calls Isaac more of a loser and idiot than this one. The Pope and Patriarch of the house, Crimson, gather their magic to attack. As they attack, Eli goes forward to grab Isaac, but he can't and grunts. Riley asks others to get back. Eli uses his holy magic to produce serpent magic, attacking the Skeleton King. But the Skeleton King dodged and told the Patriarch of the Azure that his powers were limited due to the curse. The Skeleton King tells him it would be best if he just stayed put. Eli says that he did not want to act, just in case he brought the building down, but now that he talks too much, he has to. Eli prepares for his great attack, but as he is about to attack the skeleton, the king grabs Isaac, asking if he wants him to kill the little saint. Isaac thinks the same Eli's grandson is being held hostage, and Eli keeps summoning things. The huge shark opens its mouth, and Eli tells the Skeleton King that a saint won't die from this. Isaac thinks he is crazy, and this will definitely kill him. A huge explosion occurs, and Isaac hides himself under his arms. In no time, the Skeleton King starts to disappear, and the explosion settles down. As the smoke settles, Gowl wonders if the shark has gotten the Skeleton King. The others start to question if the Skeleton King is back, as he has not been active since he cursed the Joshuas 70 years ago. They think the Skeleton King must have been gaining strength for 70 years now. Isaac gets up furiously, thinking that whoever is coming as a Skeleton King is an imposter. Riley asks Isaac if he is okay and is shocked that Isaac is okay after all this. Isaac asks if the Skeleton King is dead, and Riley tells him that it might be, as the Patriarch shredded it with his whale. Isaac says there is no way it died, as it was just an illusion. Whisper tells Isaac that it was just a shadow clone of itself, but there was something off with it. Isaac knows that there is something different and says that he is using Isaac's mana. Isaac questions if his mana core got dropped somewhere, too. He thinks that seeing how there was a piece of his bone in the Saintess's relic storage is not completely impossible. He thinks if that imposter has his mana core, then it is even better because he can just kill it and take it back. Eli appears behind Isaac, speechlessly, looking at him. He thinks that back then, if he had not attacked, the Pope would have attacked and killed Isaac too. Eli looks back at the Pope, who is immersed in his thoughts. He does not believe that the greatest God, the God that the House of the Gods has been courting for thousands of years, he almost chose Isaac Joshua. The Pope feels threatened and is not happy about it. Eli goes forward and calls Isaac, and asks him to head back with him. Eli thinks that Isaac has grown so handsome after defeating the curse. Isaac is shocked as he sees Eli smiling so awkwardly, and Eli tells him that he will buy him some tasty candies now. Seeing his weird smile, Isaac thinks Eli is acting as if he is about to drag him to a slaughterhouse. Just then, Kina calls the Duke, telling Isaac that he should not head home right now. She says it because some monsters, and she wants Isaac to take care of those monsters. Isaac agrees with the kid, and the Patriarch himself gets ready to deal with the monsters. Kina stays behind Isaac, thinking about his growth now that he is a saint. Isaac thinks he does know the reason for his doing so, but he will get his use out of him. They move forward to kill the monsters in front of them together. Isaac uses his holy magic to purify the monsters. All the elders are shocked that they have not seen this clear night for 100 years. But the guys are shocked that Isaac is not attacking and is using purifying magic instead. They think his magic has purifying properties, so maybe Isaac is trying to stop more of them from spawning. Isaac figures that he has only Shalak to learn the spells from. But if one reaches the 6th rank purification, one can inflict an area of effect damage over time. Kina asks Isaac to move away as the monsters won't be defeated with his magic. He thinks he must be 1 in a billion for using the 5th rank magic and tells Isaac that he cannot rival him with his level of talent. He asks Isaac to look closely and tells him to use powerful holy magic and attack from multiple sides to take them out. Kina is shocked as he hears Isaac laughing at him. He asks if he has not learned about the monsters. He says that they have strong regeneration, so he needs to take them out in one powerful stroke. Isaac pukes, saying that Kina knows nothing, and Kina thinks he should have just let Eli take the monsters. Isaac tells him that all these monsters are bait. Kina is shocked to hear this. Isaac points at a place, saying that this is the main force. Isaac uses his magic, and a bug appears there. He gets the bug, and Kina asks him about his plan for the bug. Isaac kills the bug, and an explosion occurs. After that, he tells Kina that the bug slowly poisons those around it. He says that these are dangerous. If the poison gets to someone slowly, no one will ever find out the reason they died. Isaac tells everyone that seconds ago, the Skeleton King told everyone that he would destroy them, but he would need to take down the priests before he destroyed the empire. Everyone looks around them and stares in search of the bugs. All the priests start to kill the bugs, which shocks Isaac. He tries to question them about killing the bugs so quickly. Whisper appears and tells Isaac that this is an opportunity, and he should purify those who fell, and everyone will recognize his ability. Isaac thinks this is great. But just then, the Pope uses the 9th rank holy spell, and he absorbs the mana around everyone. The Pope informs us that no one will be poisoned anymore. Isaac thinks the Pope is pretty unhelpful. Just then, a wolf appears, telling them that if they disobey their great, he won't forgive them and will take them down with him. He tries to attack Isaac, and Isaac quickly turns to notice it is approaching him. But as soon as the wolf sees his power, it returns quickly. Besides Isaac, Kina just saw what Isaac did and was shocked that he had cashed away a monster by just glaring at it. He clenches his fist, thinking that Isaac can do as this is something only the Pope can manage to do. Later, all the patriarchs read news about the recent events. One of the patriarchs says that there seems to have been a problem with the bowl containing the holy water. He adds there was an illusion summoning spell, and they were investigating the source of the bowl and waiting for the results. Crimson's patriarch asks if he is saying the presence of the outsiders is a problem. The other patriarch says this plays a part, but the Empire's barrier that their holy dragon protects is an issue. At Joshua's residence, Isaac thinks the barrier is failing because of the monster's invasion, and that it is not the Pope's fault because the holy dragon is affiliated with the royalty. While he is thinking, Gowel appears shocked that Isaac can also read the newspaper now and congratulates him for the ordination. Rilai is also happy that Isaac can talk well now and says they can make him read the poem that curses the Skeleton King. Just then, Eli appears and tells Isaac to leave them for a moment. Isaac leaves the room, and Eli uses their rank holy magic to absolutely prove the room. Rilai asks if there is something important, as he is using such magic. Eli tells us he used this because he cannot trust his office either, as the discussion is about Isaac now. He says that he thinks Isaac was chosen by an evil god at the ordination. Eli tells them that it is certain that the god Isaac chose was not normal. He adds that it seems a sigil that has never been seen before in an ordination comes up. He says the only one who saw the sigil was the Pope and the Cardinal of Gold, and the Pope tries to kill Isaac. Rilai is shocked as he did not notice when the Pope tried to kill him. Eli says that the Pope must have done it because Isaac chose an evil god. Gowel thinks maybe it was not an evil god, but Isaac picked a god from their own house. He proposed maybe he chose the faith of gold. Gowel says that those people hate it when other people get involved in what is theirs, so if a person of Joshua picks out a god that the people of gold serve, they would not take that lightly. He says if the Pope acted that way, then he must have chosen a god that only the House of Gold has picked before. Gowel also proposes that Isaac might have chosen the god that hadn't been chosen yet. Rilai thinks this can be possible if it is Isaac. Eli asks if Isaac would have picked a proper god. Gowel quickly answers negatively, and Rilai hesitantly stays silent. Eli asks Gowel to contact the Pope's house and try to find out which god contacted Isaac. Gowel seems uneasy about Eli choosing him, but Eli proposes that if he succeeds, Eli will give Shuri a prized relic. Eli also says that from now on until Isaac begins practical training, they will be taking special care of him. He says if Isaac has the same results in the test of faith as last time, that child will probably end up as a dark priest. Gowel thinks that if Isaac really becomes a dark priest, the entire house will be labeled traitors, they will be brought in for conspiracy, and even Shuri will be in trouble. Eli tells them they need to stop this all at all costs. Later, Rilai says that their nephews will begin practical training soon. He says that his upperclassmen haste him so much, but it is all in the past now. Isaac feels annoyed and feels like he has been enlisted in the army all over again. Rilai says that they will be working with his upperclassmen for his training. He adds that they will find what specialty suits them, and will learn about what priests really do that they cannot learn from the academy. He says that the results of this training will determine where they will be assigned and how they will be treated. He says that they will contract with a god once this period is over. Isaac raises his hand, asking about the participation in the offering ceremony. Rilai excitedly asks if he is interested in the offerings. Isaac says that he is very much interested, especially with the execution of the Skeleton King's minions. Rilai tells him he is so happy to see him grow up this way and tells him he will explain everything to him. He explains that the offering ceremony is when they give offerings to the gods, and many people gather for a celebration. He adds that a lot of people come to this, but first and foremost, the offering ceremony is about their feelings and faith towards the god. so it is actually quite personal. Relay adds that this brings them back to the fundamental questions of whether they should really gather together for this ceremony or not. He says that thinking about it for a minute, this offering ceremony is essentially a type of ritual they conduct for their gods, and rituals have always been a communal activity. He says the essence of this practice is that they are serving the gods together, with the proof of that becoming their personal faith toward the gods. Isaac figures Relay is actually enjoying explaining this. Relay starts to tell an interesting fact that what is most important is the purpose people gathered there for and the mindset with which they participate. Then, he says that he might have gone a little off course, but he thinks they now will have a good idea about it. He keeps speaking while Isaac thinks that the lower gods and angels do take part in the ceremony and hopes to meet them, as he wants to tear them to shreds. Relay smiles, saying that he knows Isaac must be looking forward to executing the minions himself, and this type of righteous hostility is needed. Gowl tells that the team with the best grades will be given the privilege to execute the Skeleton King's minions and asks Shuri to do his best. Shuri understands, but Isaac is annoyed to hear that there will be a team on this project. Relay says that he wants them both to get great grades so they can achieve their dreams. Isaac tells him he understands while thinking of killing a few of them and rescuing the rest. Looking at Isaac, Relay thinks that he is such a lovely child and can never become a dark priest. And then, Gowl asks Isaac about the god that chose him during ordination. Isaac looks at him in shock and tells him he does not remember, but it was a disgusting sigil, enough to make him puke. This makes them think it must be some evil god. Relay hesitantly tells that it is okay, as there are some gods who look a little ominous. Isaac says that he does not really mind seeing an ominous god. Just then, someone comes calling Isaac furiously. When they look, it is Kina Barrett coming for Isaac. She says he has business with Isaac. Gowl and Relay are shocked to see her there. Relay thinks that if she has come here to hurt Isaac, or the Pope sent her. Gowl thinks this could be possible if this is about the evil god. She grabs Isaac's hand, telling him that she thought he was worthless, but she wants to be true. She adds that she has realized that he has not shown himself to the world these past 10 years because he was training. She adds that he did not want his skills to be contaminated by the likes of those in the academy. She adds that she knew at the ordination that he was excellent, incomparable to the others, and it was a waste of time for someone like him to be stuck doing practical training. Isaac and Whisper both think Kina is a bit crazy. She asks Isaac to train under her grandfather and says they will dive headfirst into the real deal. She asks him to take her hand, and they shall behead the Skeleton King and lead the Holy Empire together. Shuri thinks this is a new form of bullying for the Pope, but then thinks that Kina is actually serious and thinks the conditions are freakishly good. Isaac stands up and asks her to piss off. She gets shocked, and Isaac tells her that he will be proceeding with his practical training. Shuri figures Isaac has always been insane. Kina tells him not to worry about the priest's qualifications and says she is not just asking him to train, but she will give him experience equal to 10 years. But Isaac pushes her away. He points at Shuri and tells her to take Shuri instead. Kina says that there is a difference between him and Shuri. Kina says that he has enough talent to chase away a monster with a single gaze. Whisper tells that she must have seen him chasing away the monster that appeared. Isaac thinks she is doing this to learn the intimidation technique from him, and that makes him say no even more. Isaac tells her he would say it again. Thinking about him being tutored by the Pope makes him want to puke. Kina asks in shock if he is calling her grandfather someone worthy of puking at the sight of. As Isaac tells that he would like to take his head away, Eli comes forward and puts his hand on his mouth. He quickly takes him away, telling him that his grandson is busy and that they don't want Kina anywhere near their child. Kina tries to speak, but Eli tells him that if she hangs out with him, he will rub off his bad influence on her. Kina and others are shocked to hear this, while Isaac gets angry and wants to bring ruin upon the Joshuas. Next, the story opens with a pentagon. It is the exam that all trainee priests must pass. There is an order in which they will be tested, with the cardinal of each faith testing them. The order is white, gold, azure, black, and red. Isaac stands outside a room thinking if his groupmates are in there. He thinks grouping 30 kids of similar background or faith seems like a faction war. Opening the door, he thinks that having sent Shuri to school ahead of him is paying off. He opens the door, thinking that he will use these guys to pass the pentagon and save his minions. He wants to make a good impression, But as he enters, everyone seems to be waiting for him and does not seem too happy to see him. One of them asks if he is the one who bullied Shuri all those years. Another one says that these upperclassmen of his are going to teach him some manners. They tell him that if he tells this to Shuri, then they will kill him. Isaac feels annoyed and brings his shaker out. Everyone starts laughing that this is a child shaker, and that he was an infant till recently. Isaac hits one of them with the shaker, and he collapses on the ground. They are all shocked to see him doing this. Isaac tells them that they are right. They should better get close, do some team building exercises, and get good grades, too. He raises his shaker and, with a weird smile, invites them to be his friends. Everyone starts screaming as they see him behaving like this. Later, Shuri tells Isaac that he may not understand him. Isaac has them all on their knees and sitting above them when Shuri asks if this is some team building exercise. One of the guys asks Shuri to help as they are from the same families. Shuri thanks them all for entertaining his cousin. Shuri screams and tells Isaac that the first test is about the team's harmony and asks about his plans. Isaac says he has already made them create this pyramid and asks if there is any more harmony needed. Then, Isaac asks him to take a look at something. He shows him a list of people who are trying to leech off of him. He says that these guys here have made a variety of excuses to get their worth out of him over the past 7 years. He says that he knows that House Joshua is known for not expecting anything in return, but this is too much. One of the guys screams that Joshua does not need anything from them, and nothing they offer can be of any use to them. Isaac reminds him that he has his organs all fresh and all limbs, and tells him he is not asking too much. He just wants a healthy relationship where they receive as much as they give. He asks them to do the duty diligently and with purity in their hearts. Isaac asks them to answer them, and they all obey him. He comes off of them, telling them the team building is over, and all the guys disperse here and there quickly. Shuri asks about the possibility of them failing the exam. Isaac tells him that he has something that he wants to show him and asks him to follow him. Isaac opens a cupboard, and there is a boy inside. Isaac asks him to look at him first. Shuri gets shocked seeing the guy. He questions him about doing this and says that he is a friend of their uncle's. He asks if he remembers Shim from the storage relic. Isaac says that he remembers, and the problem is him being in their group. He says that the guy had a letter saying that he was going to quit being a spy on him. Shuri is shocked and looks back at the guy. He quickly grabs the guy, asking if Nigel put him on this. The guy apologizes, saying he could not do anything about it and he had his reasons. Isaac asks him about Nigel's plan. The guy says that he told him to make sure that Joshua's group is in ruins. He adds that Nigel said that he would listen to most requests because of the test, so he told him to continuously ask for egregious stuff until the group collapses. The guy starts crying, saying that his hostility toward Isaac during the entrance ceremony was all because Nigel told him to do so. He says that Nigel wanted to be the one to take down the Skeleton King's minions. Isaac cannot believe that Nigel not only showed him hospitality, but also executed his minions. Isaac decides he needs to teach Nigel a lesson. A few days later, Nigel is getting angry at a guy for quitting being a spy. The guy tells him that they have team-building exercises, and they cannot do so. Nigel is angry but tells the guy to get out. Another girl asks him not to worry as there are 3 people loyal to him in this group. Nigel thinks that something about Isaac bothers him, and he wants to get rid of him quickly. It annoys him so much because his father is also showing his interest in Isaac. He can't believe that his father invited him over to their house and thinks that whatever it is, it will be over after today. On the other hand, the priest kids are welcomed at the Pentagon of Harmony. Isaac yawns as being in the long line is tiring him out. They say that the theme of the first Pentagon Harmony will be tested through a vote. Nigel thinks that if even one member of that group vetoes the notion of keeping the team together, then everyone on the team will fail, and the one who votes no will be reassigned to another team. He figures this means that those who vote no against the Azures can still continue the exams. He figures he still has spied on his side and thinks this way, and he can take down Isaac. A woman stands in front of them, saying that she will be announcing the results now. She announces that the Azure team members are in favor of staying as a team, which disturbs Nigel. She announces that the Azure team has passed the Pentagon of Harmony. Isaac looks back and smirks at Nigel. Later, Shuri asks Isaac to stop and asks him how he managed to convince everyone to vote to stay as a team. Isaac asks if he remembers how the Cardinal of Gold kept looking for him a few days back. Shuri recalls saying that despite being a lowly apprentice, he refused him like a lunatic. Isaac says that he asked him to give him the golden pill if he wishes to meet him. Shuri cannot believe that Isaac asked for something this previously. He recalls that it is called the Pill of Legends that only those of the Faith of Gold are rumored to have. Isaac says he gave him the pill and, after that, bribed his teammates using the pill. Shuri is hawked, asking if he told his teammates that he would share the pills with them after the vote. Isaac says that he gave them the pills before the voting. Shuri questions that his teammates could have betrayed him, but Isaac smirks, saying he trusts his teammates. Shuri is shocked that Isaac is actually slowly becoming like a priest and thinks this is good. But as Isaac opens the door, all the teammates collapse in the room and ask for the antidote. And Isaac tells Shuri that he has faith that they will not betray him because he has them all here. Shuri asks if he poisoned them while lying about it. Isaac tells him to give them the golden pill. He adds that it was just made up of 3% flour, 5% extract of the Skeleton King's mana, 1% for constipation, 0.5 extract of human hair, and 0.1% golden pill. He says that one can ingest more than that by simply breathing next to it. He says that they have lived easily till now thanks to Shuri, so it is about time they started paying prices for what they have done to Shuri. All of them beg that they cannot take any more and ask them to give the antidote. Isaac starts to search for the antidote, saying that a promise is always a promise. He grabs a diaper, saying he has found the antidote. Shuri cannot believe that Isaac kept the antidote in his leftover diaper. Isaac toys with the kids while handing them the antidote. Just then, furious Nigel enters the room, asking Isaac to return his spies. Before Isaac could do anything, the other guys quickly got up and asked Nigel not to come in their way and say something to Isaac. They beat Nigel up, and Isaac tells him that he knows that he told the kids that people look toward overwhelming power in times of need. He tells him that he is completely wrong and people tend to save their own asses first. He tells him that everything is meaningless in the face of death. Nigel can't believe that Isaac is a human just because of how dreading he looks while talking. Later, at the Sancta of Seed's offices, the Cardinal is in his room when an apprentice comes inside. He lets him in, thinking that it took 7 days for him to see a special apprentice. The guy comes in apologizing, saying that Isaac did not come. Cardinal is shocked and asks if he is not coming even after taking the golden pill. The guy tells them that Isaac has given him a message to relay to him. The guy tells him that Isaac told him to send a large amount of gold next time. Hearing this, the pen in the Patriarch's hand breaks, and he asks the kid to do everything at his disposal to bring Isaac to him. On the other hand, Nigel goes back after being humiliated. He thinks that at least he got something out of it, which is that his guys said that there is something with Isaac that prevents him from clashing with the Inquisitors. He figures he will find something if he looks into him and decides to reveal Isaac's secrets. Then, he calls the other guys, asking about their whereabouts. One of the guys says that he has some business with someone here, and that is why they are here. The guy wishes for Nigel to piss off, as it would be a headache if they figured out that his master wanted to see a man of Azure. Isaac comes asking about them being late. He tells them that he asked them to hurry up as he needs something from them for the tea party. The guys wish Isaac could help them. One of them says that they are going to give him something, but the item is being prepared right now. Isaac tells them to bring the snacks by the end of the day, as team building exercises require snacks. Nigel can't believe that Isaac stole his men. As the guys are about to head back, Nigel uses his 5th rank holy magic called Repentance Hell and attacks the guys with it. He tells Isaac that he made it so that his servants can get some rest, as he has some business with him for now. He asks if he wants to take a test of faith, and it will be fun. Shuri thinks if Isaac takes a test of faith, he will be scorched, and if things go wrong, then he can take down their entire house with them. Nigel says that there is a device that responds to just a touch, so they can use that. Just then, the Lord Cardinal appears, asking Isaac if he thinks of him as a fool for messing with his summon. Nigel turns to find Cardinal Barrett standing there, and it shocks him to his core. Seeing Nigel there, Barrett tells him he did not know he was this close to the House of Red. Barrett says that he did not like how someone from House Red took his men down. Nigel can believe that those were with Cardinal Barrett. Isaac apologizes to Barrett and says that, as he can see, Nigel has told him not to fraternize with the people of Gold, so he could not respond to him in time. Isaac starts to curse at Isaac, telling them he did not do this. Then, he questions Berit, calling for Isaac, as none of the bishops were allowed to contact the students during training. Nigel keeps questioning Berit, and Isaac thinks this is all fun. Berit tells Nigel that he gave his time to get to know his team better, but it seems he has too much time on his hands. Nigel gets confused when Berit says that he will specifically give his team more work from the Sancticides now. Then, Berit asks Isaac to come to his room. Isaac apologizes, saying that he thinks he has to see the Cardinal of Red first since he called for him, too. Nigel is shocked as he hears this. Isaac tells Berit that he will see Berit some other time as he just happens to have some plans at this time. Berit is shocked at seeing that even the Cardinal of Red called for him. Isaac confirms that he called for him, and Nigel is terrified that Isaac already knows, even though he never told him. Nigel thinks that at this rate, Berit will disapprove of him, and he will have a bad review, so he should get out of here now. He quickly grabs Isaac, telling him that he came here to summon Isaac so he would take him with him. Berit stays silent for a while, and Nigel is worried about whether this is going to work on him or not. But, to his surprise, Berit turns away, saying if he had prior plans, then it is his choice. But then he tells Nigel that because he inconvenienced his house, he will give him more work tomorrow. Nigel figures that he should take him to his father, but in no time, Isaac has disappeared. Nigel looks here and there, and Shuri says that Isaac has gone to sleep. Nigel gets furious and begs for Isaac to wake up, while the other kids ask Nigel to get out of the room. 3 days later, Nigel is cleaning because Berit has decided to give him more work. He screams that cleaning for 18 hours a day is not fair. He recalls that his father also refused to help him because he could not bring Isaac to him, and even his team members were bitching at him for low grades. He figures he needs to bring Isaac to his father to win him. He goes to the prayer room, waiting for Isaac, thinking he will ambush him from the prayer room. 6 hours later, Nigel is still there, but Isaac has not come. His team members appear, asking him to come out as they have work to do. Just when they were dragging him out, he saw Isaac sitting in the corner waving at him. Nigel screams, asking his teammates to let him go, but no one lets him go. Shuri asks if Isaac comes here on time to mess up with Nigel. Isaac tells him that this is fun, but Shuri tells him that it is advantageous for them to meet the Cardinal of Red. Upon asking, he says that Berit will never give them the king. Upon more questioning, Shuri reveals that he should know the gardening scale and says that the king's talent is irreplaceable. He says that if a cardinal gets pissed and gives them a skeleton, they will be demoted back to the academy, and Cardinal Berit probably wants to kill him too. Isaac questions him about the possibility of having any beef with Berit. Shuri reveals that his mother was engaged to Cardinal Berit, but his father stole her away from him. He adds that the prior engagement was nullified because his father made it a thing between their entire families. This makes Isaac think that Berit would definitely want to kill him to shreds. Shuri tells him that he can keep Cardinal Berit at bay if he befriended the Cardinal of Red, and the kids of Gold need to pass Red's person, too, so this way they won't get any skeleton in Gold's pentagon. Isaac figures that Shuri is right, and this will work, and he will meet the Cardinal of Red. But just then, a hand appears beside him and takes him away. Shuri turns up to look at Isaac, but he is no longer there. Just then, Berit is in his room reading and orders someone to come in. On his orders, a huge explosion occurs in his room, and Isaac appears. Isaac greets him, asking if he instructed his servants to kidnap him. Berit looks back and tells him he has something to tell him. Isaac asks if he has called him here because he was ignoring him. Berit tells him he wants to adopt him as the son of the House of Gold. Isaac was taken aback by Berit's desire to have him as his son. He gets confused, wondering if Berit is mocking him, or maybe some kind of new scheme to check on Joshua's. Berit tells him there is no trickery here, and he proposes that he leave Joshua and be adopted into Berit's house. Isaac thinks this makes it even more suspicious, thinking if this is because the fake skeleton king called him a saint. But then he thinks he does not care about their intentions, as he is not actually a part of Joshua's. Isaac asks if he will get anything if he becomes his son. Berit surprisingly stares at him. Isaac tells him he should present the terms and conditions while proposing a deal. Berit smirks, thinking that Isaac wants to make a deal even at this age. He says that they will provide him with everything Joshua could not, and the papal family can make up for everything he lacks. But Isaac laughs at his terms and conditions and tells Joshua lacks nothing. Berit says he has heard that Joshua is trying to confine him to the mansion. He tells him that the Vatican's faith demands patience and the suppressing of one's nature, and he might face countless restrictions moving forward. Berit adds that the House of Gold will not interfere in any of his affairs, and they will support him in whatever he does. Isaac tells him this sounds too little, and they are offering him to back him as the next head of Berit. Berit asks if he is aiming for the Pope's position as well, including the saints. He asks if he does not think that aiming for the Pope's position, the House of Gold, would be beneficial for him. Isaac reminds him that he is still a part of the Vatican. Berit tells him that he will grant him a land deed in his name and his own territory, a vault full of gold, a private army under his name, exclusive tax exemption rights, and a mansion that is bigger than Joshua's. He adds that he will even grant him direct heir status. Isaac tells him he will consider his offer. Berit says that he is glad that such a fine deal is being made and that they will begin the affiliation process right away. Furiously, Berit tells him not to say anything to Joshua, and Isaac agrees to keep it between them. Just then, Berit moves out of the room and finds Shuri out there. He scares Shuri, and he runs away, saying that he has heard nothing. Berit sighs and comes back and tells Isaac that nothing matters except his opinion, and even if he tells Joshua, nothing will matter. Isaac tells him he has agreed to think about it, but he has not accepted the deal yet. He says he knows that he won't join the papal family even if he dies. Berit confirms that he won't join even if he dies, and Isaac agrees. Berit crumples a paper in his hand, telling Isaac that he resembles his mother a lot in both his looks and the way he speaks. He tells him that with just one word from me, he will be excommunicated, and then he will never become a priest. He tells him that he forgot about becoming the Pope, and he won't even become a saint. He tells him that by the Vatican's authority, he can ban him from ever setting foot in the Holy Empire, and asks if he wants to say such things even if he knows about his power. Isaac smirked, saying he would just make a country where priests and popes would not be needed. He asks Berit if a nation needs two leaders and tells him that it is going to be his country anyway. Berit is shocked at his thoughts. Isaac smiles cutely, saying that he would need at least this much courage to defeat the Skeleton King. He moves forward, telling to pretend that he never heard his adoption offer, and he still was better for his excellency. He thanks him, telling he is even more interested now. He tells Berit that he wonders about the events of the ordination ceremony today. He says he wonders about the event that made Berit adopt a child from their rival house. He adds that the people of the Empire must be incredibly curious, too. At the Joshua mansion, Eli asks if Isaac passed through the Unison Pentagon, too. Eli thinks this is all because his faith is insufficient. He kneels down and prays to his God and prays for his grandson to be gone. Rilai's elder brother comes and questions about the events of the house while he is gone. He is Benjamin Joshua, the second son of the house Joshua. He asks Rilai about his father using the Vatican's faith to curse others. Benjamin asks if Isaac is a problematic child. Rilai tells him he is kind, pure, well-mannered, and a smart kid. Benjamin questions about his father's behavior. Rilai says that he is just worried about his grandson. Benjamin says he cannot inherit the house since he is the second son, so it is good that a child with the potential to become the heir has appeared. But he says that he is feeling strangely uneasy. Eli questions about the blessing not working, as he thinks anyone struck by the blessing would be so over-energized that they would trip over themselves and pass out for 3 days. Benjamin thinks this sounds like a curse and feels good that it did not work. Just then, Lee Joshua appears, who is also a scientist candidate, and greets his uncle and grandfather. While Lee greets Eli, he is still worried about the Unison Pentagon. He thinks the papal family is showing way too much interest in Isaac. He thinks if the Vatican is truly after his life, then it would be better for him to drop out and come back quickly. He thinks it is way too soon, though, as it would be alright if he had been ordained a year or two later, although he knows Isaac is too outstanding for the ordination to get delayed. Just then, their eyes go toward a letter. Benjamin questions about the letter as he thinks the envelope is too fancy to be used in Joshua. Eli sighs, telling them it is from their fourth brother, which leaves them confused and shocked. Rilai cannot believe that Neil sent a letter. Eli takes the letter and says that Neil has asked about his death and his stepping down from being the patriarch. Eli says this is why they need to teach Isaac some manners, as their brother won't have any. Rilai agrees with him. Eli says that if they do not think Isaac is up for the job, then Rilai will be the next patriarch. Riley coughs, and Eli thinks if Isaac has passed Harmony, then maybe there is some hope. Just then, a bird comes inside, cursing at the situation, and then changes into Shalak. Eli asks him if something is wrong. Shalak complains that Isaac is running here and there, beating other kids with his rattler. Shalak questions the insane lunatic using healing magic to beat the other monsters, and Eli says that it is Isaac for him. Riley and Benjamin seem worried when Shalak tells them that Isaac has been blackmailing his teammates to pass the test as well. Eli thinks this is fine as long as the Pope's house does not find out about such things. Just then, Shuri comes running, calling for his grandfather. He informs that Berit has called for Isaac to be his stepson. This leaves everyone dreading. Eli asks for the answer Isaac gave, and Riley says they cannot let him go like this, as he is a man of Joshua. Shuri says that Isaac thinks the deal is great. Riley grabs Shuri, asking for the trick Berit used on Isaac. Shuri says that Berit used too much money for anyone to refuse. Benjamin notices that the servants have listened and are talking about this matter. Eli gets furious, telling everyone that Berit should know that Isaac's grandfather is still alive and breathing, and they are attempting to steal his kin. On the other hand, the house Berit has sent a great amount of gold to the Joshuas for Isaac. Everyone thinks that the rumors of Isaac being close to the Pope family must be true. Isaac figures this gold is compensation for shutting his mouth. On the other side, there is Shuri standing with loads of gold for Isaac from Azure, and Isaac is shocked to see this. Isaac thinks if the Patriarch has sent him. Just then, Shuri shows Isaac a paper in which the Patriarch has written that he is one of them. Just when Isaac is confused about such matters, Shuri sees Lee approaching. Isaac turns and is even more shocked that the matriarch is here, too. Everyone starts to cheer as Melissa and Lee appear. Isaac has tried his best to avoid her, but now she is finally here. Isaac tries his best to run somewhere to avoid Melissa and hides behind Shuri. As he was hiding, Shuri asks if this does not look real even though it is a video from the communication orb. Isaac kicks Shuri, telling him that he scared him so badly. He tells him he thought Melissa was actually here. Melissa sees Isaac from the communication orb, asking if he is Isaac as she has heard he has grown recently. She figures it is true that he beat the Skeleton King's curse. Isaac thinks that it is good that this is only from the communication orb. Since she is not seeing him in person, she cannot recognize that he is the Skeleton King. Melissa tells him that she heard that he was kidnapped by his forces recently, which would have been hard. But just then, she notices something and calls his name. Isaac screams, thinking she has sensed him through the orb. She asks about sensing the power of Skeleton King on him. Isaac thinks it would be bad if she finds out his reality. Melissa keeps questioning, and Isaac says that it must be because he swallowed the finger of the Skeleton King 10 years ago. Melissa and Lee are both silent for a second. Melissa said that she had heard it from Riley, and that there was no way the Skeleton King would be here anyway. Isaac thinks the finger he swallowed has finally come to some use. Melissa says that if the Skeleton King was there, she would have skinned him alive and hung him by his toes. Lee looks at other people, asking if they have come here just to see the progress in training. Nigel says that he heard the Saints don't interfere in the family business, but they are still here. Lee tells Nigel that she is interested in him, and that is why she is here. Nigel is shocked, and then Lee says that she heard he was to be the net in line to lead the house, but he lost all the people in Harmony. She tells him that he is stupid enough to cause a penalty for his teammates as well. Nigel collapses on the ground, hearing such harsh realities about him. Isaac thinks Lee has done her thing well. Melissa tells Isaac that she has prepared something special for him to reward for his troubles. Isaac thinks the gift would be money as well. However, Melissa says the gift is her ultimate skill, which is the most powerful holy attack that even defeated the Skeleton King. Isaac grits his teeth, not wanting to have it. But Shuri is shocked that the Saintess's ultimate skill, which cannot be bought or stolen, is being gifted to Isaac. Nigel's teammates try to wake him up, telling them that this way, the Joshuas will move forward for them. One of Isaac's teammates kneels down, thinking he will ask if Isaac thinks he can get everything, even after poisoning his teammates. He goes forward, asking Melissa if he has something to talk about. He is Molech, the first son of a ruined count. He is the #1 spy of Nigel's. He tells Melissa that Isaac fed them poison to pass Harmony. Melissa's eyes widened as she heard this. The guy sniffs, telling them that a saint candidate used poison on them, and Melissa is shocked to hear this. Nigel figures at least one of his spies has done something useful and figures if he gets him kicked out, he will add him back to his team. Melissa calls Isaac, asking if he thinks poison would do it. She tells him that poison is way too inefficient in improving one's mental fortitude and that he has done a terrible thing. The guy is shocked and says that Isaac hit them until they were bruised black and blue. Melissa again furiously tells Isaac that hitting someone's flesh does not help with training at all and that he should hit bones in the future. Hearing this, even Isaac is confused. Melissa says to express an apology that she would want to break some of them herself, but Lee stops her, telling her she might kill the child. Lee asks the kid if he wants some help and tells him she can break his bones clean in just one try. Isaac comes between, telling them he will take care and they should not be worried. The kid is shocked at what just happened, and Isaac tells him he should have listened to him when he was threatening him. Isaac smirks, saying that from now on, he will become his meat shield and servant. Later in the room, Melissa asks if Isaac wants to be the head of the household, and Isaac agrees. Melissa asks about his plans for one day if he becomes the head. Isaac says that he will remove the saints, and Shuri tries to warn him not to speak just like he usually does. Lee asks him the reason for removing the saintesses, and Isaac says it is because they do not need them. Then, he tells us that he will take down the Skeleton King. Then, he asks Melissa if she won't give up being a saint. Lee looks at Isaac in shock. Melissa says she has committed a sin no man should. She recalls when she told little Lee that she had one chance to kill the Skeleton King. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and the Skeleton King could have definitely been slain. But she could not do it. When Lee asks the reason, she says she does not know. Maybe God has not forgiven her for it. Melissa says that it is because of her that the Joshuas are cursed. Isaac is shocked at this piece of information. She tells them they need to kill Skeleton King in order to undo the curse, and it is a burden she must carry. Isaac asks her about the sea she committed exactly. Melissa does not answer, and Lee thinks Melissa must have had her reason for not killing the Skeleton King. Then Melissa says that this is the reason she wanted to see him today. Lee presents him with a Scientess Rosario. Isaac figures this is a Saintess symbol, and it is the only one in the world. He is confused about the reason she is giving that to him. Melissa says that she has stored her power in there because she heard that his offensive holy spells were too weak. She tells him to use it whenever he wishes. She adds that he should use it instead of the offensive holy spells since he won't be able to survive the remaining pentagon with just the purification holy spells. She tells him she will visit him soon at the Helen Empire so she can give him lessons on how to take down the Skeleton King. With that, she disappears, and Isaac wishes for her not to show her face ever again. Lee decides she should leave as well. Then, she looks at Isaac and asks if he has a monocore. Isaac is shocked if she knows that he made one even though Melissa did not catch on to it. He thinks he should call her right away, Lee, as if she was mistaken. She says that the thing in there is the monocore that was in the outer building. Isaac tries to behave right, agreeing with her. Isaac figures he forgot that he had the one he could not absorb right here. He thought that he could undo the seal on it using the holy spells, but it has not worked yet. Lee tells him that her necklace should be able to undo the seal of the monocore. Isaac is shocked and thinks she could undo it as well. Lee says that she does not know if he will be able to use it, but she understands that he is trying his best to revive the household's techniques. Isaac thinks that the seal has something to do with their techniques. Lee asks about his plans after removing the saintesses. Isaac says he will be a rich, unemployed guy. Lee then waves at him, telling him she will see him once his apprenticeship is over. As she leaves, Isaac thinks she is not normal either. Lee walks out till she returns. Just then, the guy with her calls, telling her that the necklace is an item that could help her find the secret techniques of the household. Lee agrees that she knows. The guy reminds her that it is an heirloom, and the household head passed it down to her, so all other direct lineages want it. She says if someone manages to steal it from Isaac, then she guesses that Isaac is not as skilled as he thought he was. The guy says that if Isaac succeeds in keeping it, he will definitely become the household head. Lee says it is better than him going to the Sancta Seeds. She chuckles, recalling him wanting to take down the Skeleton King and remove the saintesses. She looks outside the window, wanting him to take down the Skeleton King. At the same time, Isaac is excited and happy about reviewing the heirloom. Later, it is raining outside heavily. Gowl comes home when the servant meets him, telling him it has been so long since she saw him. Gowl asks if she is doing all right. She says that she is the same as always and asks about Joshua. Gowl says that it is trash as usual. She also calls them hypocrites, telling them this is expected of them. Gowl says that sometimes he is worried he might get attached to them. He thinks about something happening at the ordination. He recalls that the member of the clergy who was in charge of Isaac's ordination was found dead in the forest by the monsters. He thinks that it was bad enough to get rid of the witnesses. He also questions the House of Gold, wanting to adopt Isaac, and thinks there is no way they would do that unless they are all insane. Gowl thinks there are many things that are weird here. He also thinks that his mother is one of them, but his life could be in danger if he digs too deep. He tells the servant that he will be resting and asks her not to come until he calls her. He then laughed, thinking he could never get attached to them because he was the one who handed Berit Joshua's rights. He thinks there are moments when he thinks he has gotten too close to Joshua, but he feels nothing for that household. In the classified information storage of Berit's office, Gowl is searching for something on Isaac Joshua. He finds the mark that Isaac picked at his ordination. He gets furious as he figures he has been chosen by the greatest gods. He closes the book, thinking this is the reason the house of the Pope wants him. He figures this is no more about sancticides, but this is about whether the house of Berit lives or dies. He runs while thinking that this may be about the survival of the empire now. Next, there are clothes lying here and there in Isaac's room. Whisper asks if this money is enough for him to find a weapon to destroy the binding orb. Isaac tells him it is barely possible. He adds that the problem is the anti-demonic stone. Whisper tells that not only does it destroy all mana, but it is also immune to mana, aura, and holy powers. Isaac says that turning the binding orb that bound his minions into an anti-demonic stone seems crazy. Whisper tells this is the only way to take down a ninth circle demon. Then, Isaac decides to try removing the binds on the mana core. Whisper is excited that he is finally going to absorb it. Isaac recalls that Lee told him this would release the binds and tells him he has never seen something like this before. Within seconds, the binds open, and Isaac gets a tablet-like thing in his hand. Whisper gets excited and asks Isaac to eat it. Isaac says that this is more mana than he expected. He says this is enough to increase his magic rank, and he will be able to spam higher-level spells now. He laughs and screams while gathering up all the mana. And then suddenly, he notices his hand has changed into a skeleton hand. Isaac screams as he sees this. Then, sitting on his bed, he curses the skeleton that appears again. Isaac thinks this is all because of the curse. He thinks of the curse that allowed the Skeleton King to become the strongest demon lord ever, the reversal of the living and the dead. Whisper asks if the curse will take over his body. Isaac tells this body has tons of blessings, and it won't be consumed this easily. He adds that the curse just got really powerful all of a sudden because his mana suddenly increased by a lot. He says that he can grow his holy powers to suppress the curse, but then he needs to pray, and he does not know about the longevity of it. Whisper tells him that his body converts mana to divine mana automatically, so he should wait. He adds that he can maybe suck out mana from Rosario. Isaac tells him that it would be a waste and says this cannot be helped, and decides to use the pentagon to his advantage. He says if he sues the test of red, the heretical test, properly, he can grow his holy mana massively. He figures he will just have to bind his right hand until then. Just as Shuri comes questioning about his whereabouts, and Isaac thinks this is bad. Isaac laughs by himself, and Shuri tells him not to do so as he is scaring himself. Shuri asks him the reason for hiding his arm. Isaac says that he is not hiding and that it is nothing. Shuri moves forward and grabs his arm and gets scared, asking if those are bones. Whisper asks Isaac to use the memory deletion magic quickly, but Isaac thinks he will be found out if he sues it on another human. Shuri asks if his ethics are rotten because of his rotten body. Shuri tells him that he should have told someone if this was happening to him, because everyone thinks he is evil just because. At first, Isaac was shocked, but then he recalls that the curse that befalls all Joshua men is that they are either born talentless or born talented, but with a significant physical flaw. Shuri tells him that one of their ancestor had the same problem as this. Shuri mumbles questioning about the physical crippleness of the hand and it being so ethically challenged. Isaac sees him thinking and thinks if he should just kill him. Shuri tells him they should tell Eli everything so he can be healed up, as that would help extend his lifespan as well. Isaac figures that if he tells them, they would know he is the Skeleton King and asks Shuri not to tell them. Isaac tells him that he does not want to make his family worry about him, especially now that the Pentagon is here. He says he wants to execute the Skeleton King's minions before he dies, and Shuri tears up hearing this. Isaac tells him not to worry as he won't die, and they will find a way for him. Shuri asks him to tell him the way so he can help. Isaac looks back, telling him to deliver something to the Cardinal of Red.